platform is independent.
I heard you, I seen you, but you
we
were
wanted
frozen.
to work
But
with
I can hear you
everyone
loud and
across
clear.
the spectrum. So folks are invited to share what they know, and the viewers makes their choice, and we ask the questions and we give the guest the opportunity to answer.
This craziness, man, I do not care. Why am I so anti-establishment? Because of what I've seen the establishment do to people. That's why I cannot be pro-establishment.
Power is in the hands of the people. And it really did. What we all witnessed is the government, they knew that they were heading in the wrong direction. They knew Gambians are speaking in the same voice.
What law in the books that says the government has power to come out and go after folks' private citizens' properties and demolish them because somehow the government interest?
The only way that we can salvage our country is when everybody that gets their hand dirty. Don't sit there with your expertise and just to procrastinate everything that people say or pontificate, what everybody says or does. Let's get our hands dirty.
Faramos.
Brother man, good afternoon, good afternoon. It's been a minute, Pop Samba, like they always say around my neck. It's been a minute. Can you believe that? Oh my Lord. Why do I miss you guys and miss everyone who is tuning in? Hey, Brother
Today
Malone.
is special. I'm the special correspondent for the people by the people.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You are not Musa Cooper,
Bro, I've been getting calls and even in the Gambia.
Coach.
Musa.
Mr. Sarian, how are you, man?
Ooh, there's a delay somewhere. Maybe it's me.
Are you hearing me, Moose?
Yes, I am. Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you very well.
There's a delay.
I saw him doing his thing about lament and all that. Even the minister has to respond to Musa Jeng,
That's why, Pata named him Musa Cooper,
Doing
Anderson
good,
Cooper.
man. Doing good. Taking it easy. Today is Sunday.
Yes, how you guys doing?
We're good, man.
Yes, Pop Samba, it's been a while.
I can hear you guys.
Yeah, we can hear you too.
Yeah, we can hear too. I think there's just a delay. I'm going to delay how it
It's
works.
the Atlanta internet.
Something like that. But there's a little bit of a delay. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Pop Samba, are you hearing me as I speak, or?
Yeah, I'm hearing you as you speak.
Okay, maybe it's Morong. I mean, Morong obviously being in the Gambia, there's always going to be that delay. And he's out again. I'm sure he's going to come back. Maybe he's better off just going with the audio. Tukulor say, Mom Lisa, wallahi namon nalen. Yes, Pop Samba. So what's been going on?
Same old, and now it is the political season now.
Yes.
And everybody is all high, and that coalition talk. This is what it's supposed to be. That's but we're just enjoying it because it's all part of the process, Sibopam, and hopefully the separate poll also got everybody jumping all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be an interesting 9 months, and hopefully there will be clarity enough for the people to vote their realities and not revert back to we'll just vote for 5 Arch or whatever. But it's interesting.
5
Yeah.
Yange Toin.
That's what they do. They give them 5 Arch, they vote for you. Man, they say 5 Arch about do job money. Man, they go vote Keauma. So, and then you come and cry about lack of hospitals and all that. But it is what it is.
Pop Samba, I mean, for 3 weeks, obviously, I was in the Gambia, and it was definitely very refreshing. You know, anytime you go home, it's always a good thing. And a lot of people made it very eventful and beautiful, you know, going home. Friends and of course, I'm going to take the opportunity, obviously, to thank them for the hospitality. You know, my brothers and sister-in-laws and cousins every day. Uncle Musa, Kainyo, Ansi, every day they bring beautiful dishes. I mean, you can't really beat it. I mean, it was just wonderful. It's always good to be home. I mean, to be back home. And of course, I want to do a special Nene Frida Gomez. I mean, she made a huge difference, Pop Samba, this time around. Lady took us on this nice boat trip. Myself, Pop's Bankamane, and Nene's friends. I mean, leaving Denton Bridge, heading to Pop Samba. Next year, Sundene, I will have. We are going to go on this trip.
I go to that. I've been to that.
It was beautiful, and Nene made it all happen. We did not pay a dime. Breakfast in the middle of the River Gambia. Lunch, I mean, the spread, unbelievable. Left Denton Bridge around 11 o'clock. We didn't get back till 6. It was just, again, I'm just being honest. For me, it was the first experience. I've never done that before. And I really want to salute Nene and thank her immensely for her hospitality. Really, I mean, it was just beautiful. Pop Samba, you're gonna experience before, right?
Yeah, I've done it before. It's nice. And I think that, you know, the my favorite part is if you're going on that trip, going towards from Denton Bridge to Lamin Lodge, there is an area where the Atlantic Ocean meets the River Gambia.
Exactly.
It's just beautiful to just, you know, no, it's like you said on your post, and I hope I heard the minister also come to respond.
Right.
If Lamin Lodge, I had the same issues. I took pictures and all that, and when I went there, if Lamin Lodge is going to be part of what you are promoting for tourism, you have to be able to set standards, and that's just what it is. You cannot just leave it haphazardly because, yes, it's a private entity, but the state relies on it to draw tourists to the country. So they should make sure that all these tourist areas, you either meet a standard or you lose your license.
Exactly.
That's just what it is. Because, yes, Musa Jeng might own it, but it's a representation of the country. So it means that we have to move, you know, set standards that are sometimes, you know, inconvenient but necessary to meet. And I think if you do that, it does. Lamin Lodge most, apart from the river, when you go there, what is there? It's nothing. It's just like that bridge. I'm afraid somebody might fall through those cracks one of these days and it will be a problem. It looks like a dump. I'm sorry, whoever owns it, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude. But it also looks like anything that anybody can look at and say, you know what, hey, this is really enticing. It's not even safe. Walking on that bridge itself, that makeshift bridge, is not safe at all. Definitely. But maybe I'm crazy.
Yeah, and that's why I made like few tapes basically talking about it. And even from Denton Bridge as well. Well, what I tend to do when I see some of these potentials, I mean, and I have to say, you remember last year when I came and I say Gambia is on the move, and people kind of, sometimes when you make commentaries or utterances, people see it in, is it helping the government or not? And then sometimes, believe me, my head is not even there. I'm just basically speaking what I see. And what I saw was a real potential. The experience is just so beautiful. All we need is to enhance it. I mean, take it to the next level. Now, do I really believe that it is the role of government to do all of that? Maybe not. And like the minister said, they do policies and write those kind of things. They don't own the place. But again, just like you said, the whole thing is, as a regulatory body, you can say, look, before you come and create this place and you call it a destination, which is going to be part of our product, Destination Gambia, you have to meet certain expectations. I mean, let's say, I work for Hilton, right? Hilton doesn't own where I work. It's a franchise. But there are certain criteria you are going to meet to be able to fly the Hilton flag. Marriott would do the same thing. If you're going to represent a franchise, you have to meet that. So all I'm saying is to the Gambia Tourism Board or to the Ministry of Tourism, if you're going to go out there and create something that complements the product, it has to meet certain things.
It has to.
My other thing is, it's just a gold mine. If you give it to me today, both Denton Bridge, Area Bobulin, and then what they call it, Lamin Lodge, Pasamba, there is just, and I did indicate both KMC and Western Division, they're talking about raising money, revenue. I mean, this is a gold mine. Take it over, take a loan from the bank. I don't know how the hell you do it. Develop that area, build shopping centers, make it nice. I mean, Gambians will start going there. You will start making money. Tourists will start coming there. Because when we went to Lamin Lodge, there were some people upstairs and it's so raggedy. It's so bad. Tourists, they were there, sipping their coffee or whatever. Under a very terrible condition. Mandamarus. Seriously. I mean, I just felt terrible.
And I think that this is where the state needs to take ownership of it. Buy it from those people, take it over.
Yes.
And just because, like in the US here, all parks are controlled by either the state or the feds. They are not left in private hands like that because of it's a representation of something, you know. But in the Gambia, you look at most our biggest problem is that we do not maintenance anything. You can build the nicest edifice today, go there in a year, and it would look like something that has been there for 70 years. That's the thing. You have to set standards. That's it. But, you know, it is just one of those things. We are not a very serious people.
But it can be fixed. It is not like it's not fixable. Like Malik Jai is saying, some person told me that as well. It was owned by two white folks, I think. And even at that time, it was much more decent. But now it's been taken over supposedly by the people of Lamin, the VDC or whatever they call them. But those people are not doing anything. And this is where I would see, let's say, for instance, they're talking about the new chairman of Western Division, Yankuba Yanks. I mean, this is an area that I would kind of focus on and say, okay, how am I going to turn this thing around and make it a revenue generating area? Take it to the next level. Work with the VDC. Even if you guys want to bring in a private individual who has the money and he wants to come and invest, and there is a partnership put together, and just turn this place around. Bro, there is a lot that can be done. The same thing, Denton Bridge, because that's where the boat usually would live. Denton Bridge, Fofutamit, Mungi Melni Benen Getola.
No, of course.
A vast, the whole thing is disjointed. These so-called shops, these are sacks and all dilapidated. It's just horrible. I don't know who owns the one at Denton Bridge either. I understand that it's on the KMC. But again, these are just, but you see, and that's the thing about Gambia. It's a mixed bag. I was impressed with a lot of things. Let's say, for instance, the OIC infrastructure roads, feeder roads, absolutely impressed. Definitely. Running on those roads, mungi melni on the 285 or 85 right here in Atlanta. Moi Degabi. That's the honest to God truth. I am absolutely impressed with the road infrastructure. I'm absolutely impressed with some of the additional feeder roads within the, you remember the president talking about Burfoot is just like Dubai. I took it upon myself that, you know what? I am going to go into Burfoot at night. As much as the president immersed himself in this hyperbole, Burfoot is different. Burfoot is nice. Burfoot, I could say, with all the investment of the Pasambas of this world, the Sarians, all these diasporans are building beautiful houses in Burfoot. It complements it with these nice highways and the lights. Burfoot, if you ask me, what we used to call the Fajara pipeline, much, much, much more beautiful than the city of Banjul. So Burfoot is a nice place, definitely. So again, a mixed bag, a lot of contradictions, good potentials here and there. where I would close it, Pasamba Moy, when we talk about the people at the bottom. I went to Serekunda Market I was going to do a video, but something kind of happened and distracted me because I thought Gambians need to really cue into the realities of the everyday Gambian, these market women. Yangi ser sa 10, 15, 20 fish. Win yanko bo yanko upa. Yangi nilengi def sen lettuce fini, nilengi jai sen jahatu fini. I mean, the average, the majority of Gambians, this is how they generate their income. This is how they live. They wake up in the morning and they go into these markets in their hundreds. In Kuchineka yange alange utlo jai. And I can guarantee you most of these people are not going to leave that market with even more than $500. Seriously. And when I look at it, I'm like, okay, this is the reality of the typical Gambian. It's different from someone who is a civil servant, someone who has an opportunity to be corrupt or to be bribed, someone who the government is basically saying they've given them salary increment by 50%. And I believe that. They deserve that. When the government talks about no one making less than $10,000, civil servants, I believe that. But that's not even the majority. The majority, bro, they're in the Serekunda market, the Albert market, the Talinding market, and some of these places. And these are poor, desperate people. Kuchineka yange udlo jai. When you go into these, their roundabouts, where there is turntable, where there is the Sukuta Jabang turntable, you see all these people, Kuneka. And these places are densely populated. Ninyi den bari. And Kuneka yange jai kasu, yange jai sarans, yange jai banana. And you know what? When I look at them sometimes damade agenda because of Damalin Yeram, not may I even want the product. Not necessarily. I just want to help them. I just want to patronize and buy stuff from them. Everybody is selling. In other words, the idea that Gambians are lazy. It's not true. Their options are very limited. So Gambia is a mixed bag. And I think any government or any future government, you have to try to understand this reality. I know that it's not easy to fix it. I don't think government can wake up overnight and take care of all these people and create the jobs. But all I'm saying is, if you're going to focus on giving allowances, if you're going to focus on buying these beautiful Prados to National Assembly members, if you're going to focus on taking care of these people, think about Nyinga Hamne. They are at the bottom. That's what they rely and depend on. How are you going to change their lives overnight? How do you do that? Do I have the answers? Hell no. Do I think the government wants to do something? I do believe that. But I think this should be an emergency and see, how do we change this? I mean, give these people an opportunity, because definitely Jai Jahatu Yoyu Ajeni Yoyu every day is not doing it for these people. I don't think it is. So they hang their hats on that. So Gambia is really a mixed bag, a country full of potential, but a country also definitely that it's what I would call, there is an emergency, and that something really bold and different needs to be done, Pap Samba.
Almost, you've talked about two things here, and they are linked in a way. You've talked about Burfoot and how Burfoot has been transformed by mostly Gambians in the diaspora. My brother has a very nice house there, that he has built. Beautiful. You go to Burfoot, you see the houses that are built. And most of the people that have built houses there are Gambians in the diaspora. And the contribution. So that's why sometimes when they announce the remittances this time around, I saw somebody say, well, they send it to their families. I said, but those families did take that money and spend it in the market to boost the economy of the country. So you talked about that. Then you go to the reality that most of our people live in. Musa, I've been to Halifa's house.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot walk through his gate because of everybody is there selling. And these are people that need to sell to be able to feed their families. The Serekunda market cannot, in fact, accommodate everybody that is selling because Gambians are living from hand to mouth.
Mm-hmm.
The people that are doing a little better are the people who have families in the diaspora. And Musa, this is why most of our young people are taking this very dangerous journey every time to want to come abroad because that is the only way that they believe that they can contribute meaningfully, whether to help their families or to take care of themselves. So you talk about it's a mixed bag. What Gambia lacks is not resources. It's not human resources. What it lacks is bold initiatives from a government that is forward-looking. The same way that we used to write our budgets 60 years ago is the same way that we are writing our budget today. And that's the sad reality of our country. And it just does not make sense. So definitely to change the affairs of that country, you need a government that also has a vision. Now, building roads, the electrification of the country, those are great things. Nobody can take that away from because it expands the economy. But I think let's look at, you talk about the overcrowding in the Gambia, in the greater Banjul area. Imagine if this government had said, you see that deep port that they're trying to do in Gunjur also.
Right.
If you go to Kiang about Kabada also, where you can sit and you can look at Banjul from that area, because the more development that you take to places, the greater the chance that those people will also develop. You go to Kawur, you revive that neighborhood, people will come there. You go to it doesn't matter, even Badibu. Go to Badibu, deep in Badibu, put anything there, a stadium or whatever it is, because people follow development, Musa.
Absolutely.
And this is where government will set the stage. They do not need to go and build people's houses and all that. They can do that if they want to. But as soon as they have a major edifice anywhere, it follows. People follow it. But these are things. But you need a government that looks beyond doing anything just to win an election or all these things. But you're right. I missed Gambia this time around, But I just wanted to give props, Musa, I have to say this because I grew up in Serekunda West.
Right.
Everything I did, Serekunda West. Football was my life.
Mm-hmm.
I coached, I did everything. So I am so happy beyond belief that they decided to honor me during their awards night.
Are you serious?
Yes, I have the award. I have to show it to you, Musa. Manduma yode. Award.
Manego mandal bilai ginga award ginga moda ginga is just like these Nigerians. They're giving
no, please you see like, that's the award, and it's in appreciation of your exceptional dedication and contribution to the development of Serekunda Sports Organization, which have significantly enhanced our community. So it to me it means a lot because I've been given awards by Ajera, I've been given award by GA, I've been given award by Minnesota and all these communities.
This one mom is special.
But because this is my root. As a young man, young boy going to watch Navetan in the late 70s, watching all these great players to coaching there, to coaching Serekunda West, to all that. Definitely it means a lot, to me, I don't know, but, it's a great gesture. Just wanted to thank the Serekunda West Sports Organization for this very, 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 very great gesture. I don't think I deserve it, but I will take it.
I think even though I'm your NCP, I think you deserve it for the very reason that, I've known you for quite a while, and all you talk about is Serekunda West and Nawetan, playing against this, playing against that. I mean, that is part of you. That is part of your DNA. Anybody who knows you about soccer and community, I mean, I think it matters a lot to you. And there is a reason why, whether it's Bonu Johnson and some of those, the people that passed away, everybody knows Coach. And it's because of your involvement and dedication to sports in general and community activism. So what the guy, I think that they know exactly what they are doing. And you're the right person to give an award like that. Pasamba, going to Gambia, I am very hopeful. And sometimes when you say these things, people want to give it a political, well, Mzajeng saying this, you know him, he hates the UDP, that's why he's saying, oh, he hates this, that's why he's saying that. But I just want people, all of us, myself included, because Pasamba, I've had quite a few interviews when I was in the Gambia. I was all over the place. And during those interviews, what I came to realize when I saw some of the reactions, when the Gambians, they don't listen. They only hear what they want to hear and not necessarily what the person is saying. I understand. It is the responsibility of the person that is also speaking to speak very clearly. But also, ki deglu tamit. Dang may jox sa nopp yu baax yi nga deglu. And don't kind of assume ne man li lay wax ou li la waxut. And from some of the reactions that I got, maybe that's something that we need to look at, because when I went to West Coast and we were talking about coalition, everybody is talking about that in the Gambia. I can guarantee you. I've had experiences. When I went to Serekunda Market, and I want to say salute to this guy, when I walked in and I'm trying to buy a souvenir, folks that I work with, and when I'm bro, Uncle Musa, they sat on there. I mean, I watch you guys every Sunday. I mean, he's at the market, the Serekunda Market. I forgot his name, Lamine or something like that. So, but I could tell ni mo smiley o limo lile mune ma pare dang ñu dé do dala mané ko ñan la dé do dala mune man am a UDP supporter, you know. And I like what you guys are doing. So I took so what do you think about these upcoming elections? First of all, you know me, when I go out, I'm always doing my anecdotal, whether it's a taxi driver, I'm trying to get information from them. And this is what the guy told me. What do you think? I think we had a better shot when we were all together. You know, he did not like the separation. I didn't really like that. That kind of makes it very difficult for us. That's what he said. The man, most likely he's watching. You see, this Talib and his folks, they left. That wasn't good for the party. You know. So when I go, what do you think about Talib? He used to have a lot of supporters here in the market, but people don't support him anymore. Again, that's what the guy told me. And I'm like, so how do you think we can fix this? Because for me, you need to solicit solutions from these individuals. I mean, the guy is not only a voter, but somebody who supports a party. And someone who is very skeptical. The state of the party can actually win or defeat the incumbent. That's what I gleaned from what he was telling me, honestly. Obviously, he didn't expect for me to come here and say all those things. And I wanted to kind of go further and interview him, those kind of things, but we didn't get that far. So when I went to West Coast, and the question was, how do you think, if everybody is saying it's going to take a coalition to defeat the incumbent? The anecdotal evidence, for me talking to different people, taxi drivers, that tells me if the parties don't come together, it's going to be a huge challenge to defeat Barrow. Lola nit ñi wax. Lolu nekku ne da nga faral Barrow or da nga faral UDP or da nga against UNC. It's not that. people are basically saying, if the parties don't come together, it's going to be a huge challenge to defeat Barrow. That's how Lulu Moy Digger. If you go, I went all the way to Kaur.
Dandimayo.
Whenever I go home, I go to Kaur. I go and I look at the provinces. Suma benn mbokki fana munama hay bama ko laaje lamp yaangi tak. People have access to electricity. Whether it's call it a political gimmick, I don't care what you call it. And they have roads. Munama hay dekk bi len mbol go wax mom fimne sax dañuy am ice. They did not have that before. Call it, I'm going to propaganda all I want, but unless and until we deal with our reality. But I still believe Barrow is extremely vulnerable. Anecdotally, when you talk to people, dañ la wax ne mom fi nek daf ñu wara abal. But those same people are very much aware if you don't give them the right alternative, all of you know, no one phone, they're going to vote into office. 40% of the voters live in the provinces, 60% in the greater Banjul area. Barrow can easily, Pasamba, get 30% of the 40% in the rural areas. Man mala wax lolu tay ji. Easily. URR, CRR, NBD, LRR, the man can walk away with 30% of those votes. Is he vulnerable? Extremely. Can he be defeated? He can be defeated. I mean, the Cyprus polling said that. Forget about the anecdotal. The polling said that. Barrow runs against an opposition. The opposition gets 49. He gets 34. 15%. My friend. Te ñoom gis nañ yoon yi, gis nañ electricity bi, gis nañ ndox mi. They've seen all of that. But they still believe that the man should step aside. So how do you win? If people are telling you, come together and you win, then what we need to do is to find out, how do we come together? Fala affaire bi nek. Man ak yow, 15, 20 years we've been dealing with, how do you do that? Fala affaire bi nek. So, I think what is going to be central to today's conversation, Moy, for us to flesh out, how do we do that? That's what I attempt to do when I was on West Coast, and it was misconstrued because of just one statement that I made. Man amna luma buga. I know how I want it to go, but that's just me. If I say ne, if Talib Ahmed Bensouda, somebody that I support, somebody that I believe is a winning candidate, and if he's supported by everybody, he wins. To me, that's an opinion, and it's a fact, and I believe in it. But also, I wasn't born yesterday. I know to have a coalition like that is going to take compromises, and there are certain realities around that. So those are the things that we need to flesh out. We all have our opinions. When a UDP guy, I watched Nadamas, he made a very compelling argument. Bro, it's only UDP that got over 200,000 votes in 2021. None of these other parties, they don't have anywhere close to that. So if that party says, man, if you want to have a coalition, I have to play a very central role. You got to listen to them, because they have the resume to show that. But suñu waxtaanut, if we do not put everything on the table, ñu joxante cër, ñu waxante dëgga, we speak honestly, and how do we want to do it? It ain't gonna happen. And if it doesn't happen, I will keep quiet for a minute and let you, of course, filibuster. Because I heard you say, if there is no coalition, Barrow gets re-elected. Does that mean a Pasamba supports Barrow? Absolutely not. If there is anyone who doesn't support Barrow or wants to see Barrow's presidency, it's you. But there is something that you see, something that I see, something that a lot of people do see. And unless and until we speak honestly how to fix that, Barrow will be re-elected. And that will not be the end of the world, really. Pop Samba.
Most, these are interesting conversation. Like, to some of us, is nothing new. But I want people to look at it from this angle. Every political party was formed for a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And the objective of those political parties, when they were formed, Wahuma, the briefcase parties, I'm talking about serious political parties, was because they have an agenda that they think they can present to the people, and their ultimate objective is to be able to win the support of the Gambian people so that they can govern on their own. That has been the objective.
Mm-hmm.
That's the objective of the UDP, that's the objective of DOI, that's the objective of GDC, you name it, all these political parties. That is their objective. Then objective would come sometimes in direct contrast with the realities on the ground. And this is where you have to navigate and ask now, how do I achieve my goal of being able to govern, to defeat an incumbent? The dilemma that the Gambia faces, the absence of 50+1 is the reason why we always talk about coalition leading to the elections, because Raw Gadula, whosoever gets the most votes wins the election. It does not matter what percentage it is. If you have 100 candidates and you get 2%, everybody gets 1% or 1.5% or whatever, you win. Mm-hmm. So that's the silly thing about the system itself. Now, there was something that Wajuara used to say. Now, if we are going to fetch water from a well, the well is 200 meters deep or so. You have a rope that is, let's give you 98 meters. You still will not reach the water. You would need the support of somebody else who has at least maybe 2 meters or 3 meters so that you'll be able to fetch that water so that you all will benefit from it. Now, here is the situation. The same way that political parties were formed based on objectives and desires is the same way that those who are called to come to a coalition will also have the differing views as to how and what that coalition is going to look like. Gambia is not Senegal, where you can have a coalition that, because you have to go to first round of voting, and after the first round of voting, whosoever finishes second, the top two will contest against each other, and then you can draw from candidates that want to join you. Guys, please tell me if I am live, because I lost Musa. So that's the first reality that we have to deal with in itself. If you follow Gambian politics and know it very well, or you are part of the coalition building process, you will know that there have been always two views. One is, the UDP.
Sorry.
The UDP has always insisted from 2001, when we started talking about coalitions, today, they've always insisted on party-led coalition because they always believe that they have the numerical advantage and they're the bigger party, so everybody should come and join them. You had other parties like DOI who've always believed that we have to have a program-led coalition. That way, we are able to, deal with a situation. We are not going to be subsumed into a party because of its numerical advantage. So you have these competing forces. And every time there have been these differences. But we've always been able to find some way to fine-tune it. It's not easy. Because forming a coalition is pretty much giving up your ambition to support somebody else so that that person will be president. And what people must understand is that 2026 will become much harder because of experiences and history that must be dealt with. You had Mr. Dabo invoke NAD and said that when he went to that convention for NAD, the selection process, he felt he was not treated fairly. You have other people who will come and can invoke Mr. Dabo's statement that anybody who wants to force Barrow to agree to the 3-year term will take you to court. So you have all these competing things, and it will require people to sit together and look at the realities on the ground. The fact remains, Mr. Dabo knows it, Suwaibu Ture knows it, Mama Kande knows it, Esa Fall knows it, all these declared candidates, Talib knows it, and all single one of them knows it. Not a single one of them can defeat Adama Barrow if you go in mano or mano. And you know why that is the case? It's not like because Adama is so popular. You saw the polls.
Yeah.
If you have 60% of the population telling you that the economy is not like managed right, if you have 56% telling you that you are doing worse than both Jammeh and Jawara,
yes.
If you had about 69% telling you that they do not trust that you will do the right thing for the Gambian people, you are not popular.
He's not.
But the reality of the matter is the power of the incumbency. The guy has over 50 million that has been given to him by the state, Meet the People's Store, that has been abused so badly that he's going to use to campaign. He would have all the resources available to him, state resources and businesses that would want to give him money so that they can curry favors from him. So you have these realities. You have people, every day you are seeing people who are jumping and going to him, not because he is offering better solutions and ideas. There's a reason why Sabali went to Barrow. You think he went to Barrow because he believed that Barrow, the Barrow that he criticized so seriously, that Barrow is a better candidate than Ousainou also? No. Because of Barrow had promised him, come to me, you'll be pardoned. Come to me, you'll be giving a job. Come to me, we'll give you a car you have to drive now. You don't have to look for a ride or look for a taxi or look for anything. So this is why a lot of people are running to Barrow, not because of what he can offer the Gambian people or because of what they can gain from him. So the opposition lack the resources to go mano a mano with this guy. So they have to come to a decision and say, how do we solve this problem? And the only alternative to it is a comprehensive coalition. That's what you're going to have. Mr. Dabo alone cannot defeat Barrow. None of these politicians alone, mano a mano with everybody that wants to contest, will not defeat Barrow. Barrow is going to win. And he's going to win easily unless the opposition come together. But whilst we are at it, we have to sometimes agree to disagree without being disagreeable. We cannot all have the same opinion on how a coalition is going to be formed. It does not even make sense. Musa Jeng could have his own theory. This is why Musa Jeng maybe is leaning towards another candidate because he believes that candidate is a better candidate. For the Jaula would have a totally different distinct view because in his view, everybody should back Ousainou because Ousainou is the best candidate to defeat Barrow. We have to be able to accept that for each other. But at the end of the day, we should be able to come together and say, okay, Musa, you have your opinion. Coach, you have your opinion. Mr. Dabo, you have your opinion. How do we sit together?
Exactly.
And marinate these opinions? Like my friend Karamba would say, making sausage. Or making omelette. You have to break eggs sometimes. So you sit there and look at the issue. Okay, Mr. Dabo would come. This is my position. I believe that Ousainou Ndumukunda Dabo, consistently have been having more votes than any one of you guys. And I believe that if you come and join me, we'll be able to defeat this guy.
Exactly.
And people may ask, but Mr. Dabo, we did that. I've seen somebody say, oh, UDP had never been in a coalition. That's not true. UDP has always been in a coalition.
They just don't know.
UDP has always been in a coalition.
They just don't know.
2006 with NRP and GPDP. Last election, we see I think there were a number of parties that joined.
Yes, Gambia for all.
DP Dabo. 2001,
with
the DPP was unbanned. and all these parties, they went and joined him. GPP
Party. Yeah.
and all that. So UDP has always been part of a coalition. This is my thing, Musa. And I've always said that if you want to run the country, if your goal is to convince 980-something thousand voters to vote for you, if you cannot convince 6 people, that is your other partners,
definitely,
to see your way, to come to an agreement, maybe you have no business trying to run for office.
That is absolutely.
I've heard Mr. Dabo on Coffee Time say that I am going to call all these original parties, the pre-2016 leaders, some of them that are in the opposition. I will call them. I will talk to them. I'll call Khalifa. I'll call all these people to see how we can come together. We've heard Khalifa say, I am coming with Team Gambia 2016. We've heard Apex say, you know what, we are going to bring everybody together so that they can duke it out. We've had Coalition for System Change say that we are also, so you have all these forces, but people will tell you, oh no, but why do we have to have all these forces? I say, Bilai de Fogna de Magen Judici politics.
Right.
Just yesterday, 2016, there was Madam Tamba Jangs. What is that called again? The Concerned Gambians.
Concerned Gambians, yeah.
Who were talking about coalition. You had the youth leaders of the various political parties who were also talking about. Do you remember when Banka had Solo sending on the phone?
Yes.
When they were supposed to meet at the Action, whatever that place is, I forgot the name of the place. They were somewhere that they were supposed to meet. There was a problem around when Solo and the other youth leaders were here talking about coalition building. And that's the one that Ahmadba would tell you that they were having meeting at his offices. Then you had Khalifa's coalition 2016 thing with Debo Bioforce and all these things. But they were able to all come together. All these different forces, they were all looking for the same thing. But at some point, they were able to converge and say, you know what, let's come together, make this thing work. And that was how we were able to achieve coalition 2016. The thing about our politics, Musa, and I've said this to you, it's not new. It has become so toxic and so petty sometimes. And sometimes when these things happen, I've always said this since Jammeh, the only person that benefits would be the person that's at the helm. Sometimes Barrow, it looks like Barrow does not even exist.
Yeah.
To where if Barrow attacks, let's say the UDP, the other forces would use that to mock the UDP. If Barrow attacks, maybe his people attack Talib, the other forces would use that to mock Talib and the UMC. So it's like we have become now an echo chamber for the NPP, depending on who they attack and when they attack them. We are losing the plot. Coalition building is not a child's play.
It's not.
You are asking the UDP to abandon their 5-point agenda. You are asking Doi to abandon their transformative agenda. You are asking Sobeya to abandon whatever agenda they have. You're asking Dr. Dabo to do the same thing with with his party. So it would take a very difficult process. And one thing, Musa, finally, that people must also understand. Gambia does not face an existential threat. It does not.
No.
This is not 2016. When Jammeh had jailed the entire UDP executive pretty much, killed Solo Sending. We were here talking about the Ibu Jobs, Alaji Mamu Sises. We were talking about the number of dead bodies, the number of disappeared people. All these crises. We're talking about a president who stood before a nation and threatened the largest tribe in the Gambia, Mandinkas. So it was easier to unite people because we had one common enemy. He was an equal opportunity abuser. Barrow, say whatever you want to say, he is not. So we do not face an existential threat that we faced in 2016. So that's why forming a coalition this time may not be as urgent to some as 2016 was. So what I believe needs to happen though, we have to have a conversation. Those that matter, take the leadership, call each other, sit down. And you know what I know, Musa, about Gambians? You put Gambians in a room, it will not take 2 hours and you'll see them shifting their positions and agreeing.
Yeah.
All the fight that you hear about Gambians and fighting is when we are all far apart. You put 2 Gambians who you consider to be enemies in the same room, they sit and talk. In fact, even the positions that they were fighting about, bring it to that conversation when they are sitting together and the nonsense attire this thing. Before you know it, it's like no. Why folk money understand on Gadi? No man position. Before you know it, they will be able to bring their positions together. Again, finally, anybody who cannot convince 6 people, 10 people, 12 people to see your vision, you have no business trying to convince 980,000 to vote for you, Musa.
Masamba, forming a coalition, we're witnesses and old enough to go through it several times. We know how difficult it is. There's a reason why Jammeh was really killing us, maiming us for 20 years, because we were not able to come together. I have said this. In 2001, the first attempt, Lalawa, for a comprehensive coalition was talked at the YMCA. Sirif Mustafa Diba walked away because he thought NCP won the major opposition party, and if anyone should lead, Momla. Umar Amadou Jallow neko du fi am. We already have a candidate under the name of A&M Dabo. He was the most electable at that time because of what he brought to the table. Let's look at what A&M Dabo brought to the table in 1996 and 2001. APP, Ken Buguko Dega.
Nope.
They were seen as rotten. They were seen as responsible for corruption. They were seen as all the bad things. So they needed a fresh face, someone different, somebody who is not very political, and someone who is very successful. Kaya ma wax len dara. Ku amu dara. Do muna njite dara. Ngeen baal ma ci wax. Ken du wax ni ko kay jite. Because awma luma jite. MC Cham, the one that just passed away, when he was nominated to take over the United Party, after PS Njai, what did he say? Well, I was a young man, that's what he said. When Mr. Dabo was reached out to in 1996, he was a very successful lawyer.
Yep.
I mean, he was the man. He was seen as not even involved in the day-to-day politics, well respected across communities because who he is and what he represented. They saw him as somebody who am resourceful. Because people, you guys,
for the Jawla, so that he can hear you.
Listen. Because if you go back, that's where that's you would begin to understand where we are, and how we can solve it. When he was selected in 1996, it was because of that, what he represented at that time. He was seen as the most electable, must not run office, not a single one. But they thought he was the guy. They brought him in. He got a little over 32%, 31, something like that. In 2000, this was in 1996. In 2001, the PPP was unbanned. The PPP folks decided, you know what? We're still going to go with the same horse. We will back him because Amudon, the real backing with NCP together. That's when SMDiba came saying, Momo, he's supposed to be the one. Because Momo than telling PPP, Momo, he saw him, the NCP, as the major opposition party. He walked away. In 2001, when collect the results, I don't even think the SMDiba pulled 1% of the votes. Mr. Dabo got a little over 30-something%. After 2001, that's when the diaspora got actually involved. Now, you know what?
Correct, son. 2001,
After
MRDG in the UK, Yom James Bahum, they were also trying to work on coalition because that's when they invited the opposition parties in London.
No, but
They were there.
after the 2001 election, I thought
No, it was that was 2001. We came in 2003 after Nyom.
So to 2001, okay,
Yes.
maybe you're right.
Yes.
Maybe you're right. But
I'm young, so my mind is still.
I'm just saying, in an organized fashion, we get our hands dirty, brought all the opposition parties to the diaspora. That wasn't MRDG. MRDG, I remember bringing OJ to England, if I remember right.
Yes.
But anyway, coming back, it was after 2001, because in 2001, I remember Keba Jallo and the gang, Ambassador Kini, Omar, they were the ones here in Atlanta,
Yes.
Johnny Abi Jaibi, Nyom Os, through them, because we were not organized.
Alpha Khan and others.
Omar Khan,
yes.
Passed away. So all our contribution was done in that way. For the 2001 elections, it didn't go our way. That's when we decided, you know what, to get ready for 2006. And I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty, the Dr. Sains and how Save the Gambia Democracy Fund was formed and all of that. But anyway, we came together and said, we want to form a coalition of all the parties, a comprehensive one. The very, all the arguments that you guys are hearing now, we were hearing it then. Yes. There were accusations of tribalism. No, you are tribalist. Because I've heard it all. It doesn't mean anything. It's just nonsense. Nonsense talk. We've all heard it. All the argument, UDP making it look. In 2001, we get more votes than any other party. So we should be leading a comprehensive coalition. Yes, they've made that argument. Nyom Karamba, Nyom Ibrahim Diba, Ibrahim Silla. These guys were always making that argument. Alkali Conte, you name it. They were always the Pasamba
Sehumbalos and all those, they were all part of the UDP then.
They were all part of the UDP. Some of us were saying, you know what? Let's just come together. Let's sit. Let's invite them. For the first time, all of them were put under one roof. When they came under one roof, that's when they get organized. When they got organized, that's what led to NAD. They signed an MOU. You understand? Then Jok Subarek signed MOU. Haniko. UDP wouldn't move. UDP said, look, we up for a party led. And there's nothing wrong for them. I'm telling you, that argument is a legitimate argument. We have more votes than any other party. So whatever you guys do, we should be central to it. Support you. So let you support it, then you win. We're not going to do that. We're not going to abandon our parties. And then just come and join you. If we do that, we're killing our parties. You're not going to do it. But there is something very critical about a coalition. So form a coalition bohamne, all the parties accent supporters, then you send bopa. The chances are, and this is where the downside of a party led, even if all the parties were to go and join UDP and campaign for the UDP, man, I still do believe it is going to be, and it's a party led. There are some voters, they will not be absolutely convinced. Don't you send bopa? I mean, that's the psychology of the race. Even if Halifa Sallah is out there campaigning, yes, the UDP candidate is our candidate, and it's a party-led coalition, I can guarantee you, you are going to miss some votes. And if you want to defeat Barrow, you need to be very careful. You need to put all that into calculation. You know why we won in 2016? We all knew that Adama Barrow was from the United Democratic Party, but most Gambians did not see it as a UDP coalition per se. I mean, so then you put by hell when we are talking about coming together in order to win. But coming back, the same arguments that we've been hearing, we heard it. But at some point, compromises were made. UDP decided, you know what? We will compromise. And they did. They signed an MOU that was not a party-led. They created NAT, which was seen as a merger of all the parties. Equal representation. It was difficult. It was contentious. Very, very difficult. They went through by-elections and they were able to win under NAD. Jammeh was on the ropes. UDP, they made the compromises. We all remember that, Pasamba. They did. Doi did the same thing. Omar Amadou Jallow did the same thing. Ahmad Ba, the same thing. It fell up when it got to the leadership. Because the process that they had, they're going to do it by consensus. They didn't really have any method come 2016. 2016, that's how they fix it. 2016, they came with a methodology of how to select the candidate. 2006, they did not have that. What they had, they talk near watan. See it. I'm in the then we'll find a compromise. Gambian. It could have worked, but it didn't. When the first try, it didn't, UDP bolted out and said, to hell with this. Because according to the UDP, we cave into all the other issues. Now the leadership, we thought at least they will give us that. They didn't. We're out of here. And they left. In 2016, we fixed it by making sure there is a way of selecting the candidate. And we were successful. So, two experiences. 2006, NAD that didn't work, and 2016, that it worked. For me, for a comprehensive coalition to happen, Pasamba, pour mu xew, am na ñoo xam ne sax they dismiss it, it's impossible. Du mun a xew. And if you look at it, you will say most likely it's going to be very difficult, extremely difficult. Is it doable? Yes, if we want to win. But it will be difficult. So what are the difficulties? We all witnessed what happened in the UDP, positioning who should be the flag bearer. The experience that I got, if the UDP couldn't find a replacement for Mr. Dabo in the name of Talib or Yangs or anybody else, I find it almost impossible to see a comprehensive coalition boo xam ne Mr. Dabo is not going to lead it. Dama bëgg nit ñi ngeen déglu ma bu baax. It's not what I want, it's not what I don't want. I'm just gleaning the realities. If we are going to sit down and make a compromise, what are some of those compromises that would have to be made? That is, if we want a comprehensive coalition, there are other coalitions that we're going to get into. Why shouldn't we get no in the same tilt and join the same coalition, all the parties? I'm saying nay, for starters. The UDP's position nay. Let parties come and join us. Then go and put the board. It's not going to happen. Please, forget about that. If you want a comprehensive coalition, parties are not going to abandon their parties and come and join the United Democratic Party. Actually, Sapasa Maman, I do believe that is not even a coalition that can win. But Damala Warine, Dumuna Am. It's not Neman Namai advocate for that. Or Damoko. No, I'm just saying realistically, I don't see it happening. And I think even Mr. Dabo and UDP, they understand that. It's not going to work. If you want a comprehensive coalition, they have to move away from the party-led. And then let's go back and look at what happened in NAD that worked. And Moine, we formed something new and different. UDP is going to be part of it, DOI is going to be part of it, UMC is going to be part of it, GDC is going to be part of it, SFL is going to be part of it, LJ Dabo is going to be part of it, Tabakh is going to be part of it. All these parties are going to be part of it. Dr. Gajigo is going to be part of it. No disrespect if I leave anybody out. Ñoom ñëpp ñu gis ci seen boppa. Suñ ci gisee seen boppa, they put the issues yes, we want to rescue our country. We want to hit that reset button and create a new Gambia. And the new Gambia that we want to create, when it comes to the economy, this is what we are going to bring about. When it comes to the instruments of governance, changes la ñoo def. They will agree to disagree. Party, then they would come up with their own manifesto of this new thing called Gambia, and that we will take this fight to battle. So in other words, create a new vessel. It cannot be a UDP vessel, it cannot be a DOI vessel, it cannot be a UMC vessel. That is, if you want a comprehensive coalition, you create a new vessel. They will take ownership of it. Now, the most difficult part, Moy, who is going to lead that vessel? Whoever is going to lead it, you have to be able to remove yourself from this party thing. Both in your action, both in your utterances, both in your pronouncement, you will be a candidate of this new vessel. If it is Mr. Dabo, because I don't see it, UDP, be part of anything that they are not going to lead. So in other words, some compromises will have to be made for UDP to lead it. But we are going to, instead of what happened in 2016, we're going to speak honestly in how we're going to go about doing this. It has to be very honest. And also, the coalition leader cannot be seen as the UDP candidate. If that happens, we lose. I don't know whether I'm making sense. He has to be seen as Nay. This is a new day, a totally new candidate representing where all the parties will see themselves in it. For me, that is the only way a comprehensive coalition can happen. Maybe it's impossible. Maybe I'm sure there are DOI people that say Musa Jang Lol Dinkoref. There are people that I support UMC. Maybe they're not crazy about it. There are UDP folks that said we are never going to do that. You guys can think whatever you want to think. All I'm saying is that we have to put our hands around it. Now, we can create a process. Instead of just handpicking the UDP candidate, we can create a process in place, whether it's going to be based on the last elections, whether it's going to be based on some other things that they're going to put together. I don't know. Just not to make it like anointing somebody. But I'm just saying, for a comprehensive coalition to happen, to me, Pasamba, that's what I was trying to channel when I was on West Coast. You have to create a vessel that all of them would say, we are part of this. And then compromises are going to be made and assurances are going to be made. We're going to put down some the mistake we made in 2016 when we just wanted to get rid of Barrow. Jame. But Bini, then you make sure that the safeguards are in place. It cannot be a UDP government. No, people are not going to vote for that. In as much as UDP is the main opposition parties, they don't care for a UDP government. I'm sorry to say that, but that's the truth. So, if we want to give ourselves a chance for something new, we all have to make the sacrifices that is needed. So, we go into the elections to win. If we believe we want to defeat Barrow, and the only way to do it is through a comprehensive coalition, then these are some of the sacrifices that we would have to make for that to happen. The other option was the third rail, but I'm going to let you kind of delve into. Sariang actually is on the phone.
Okay.
I forgot about him. Marong. Sariang. I don't know. I can't hear you. So, Pasamba, that's my.
No, Musa, I'm going to help. I'm reading the comments and it's funny. I'm laughing. Here is the thing that people must also first accept again. If the UDP or UMC or any of these parties knew for a fact that they could defeat Nakalatura, Barrow, you'll not be having this conversation. The simple fact remains that no single party on their own will be able to defeat Barrow. That is impossible. And this is why we're talking about coalition. UDP, like you said, had always had a position of what they think a coalition is going to look like, just like everybody else does. But again, it comes back to one thing. Except until those players are ready to go to the table and have a negotiation, we are just engaged in nothing but just intellectual exercise. That's it. So those people must go to a table and present their ideas. All of them have an idea. They've been part of coalitions before. One thing that's not going to happen, though, is that people are not just going to jump because a promise is made. They would want assurances. Because of we had failures before, where promises were made, and that is why we are here today talking about forming a coalition to defeat Adama Barrow. Was Adama Barrow supposed to be on any ballot last election or these elections alone? No, he was not. That was a promise that was made to get people to come and support him and his candidacy. That promise was betrayed. So don't expect just because you made a promise or a pronouncement, it doesn't matter who you are, that people are going to say, you know what, Ki Olunako, let's go. It doesn't work that way. So assurances must be made. But for that to happen, cooler heads must prevail.
Exactly.
I have said this during 2016. Coalition will not be negotiated on Facebook or on TikTok or on Coffee Time or any of these mediums. It will be negotiated by those players who would sit with their partners to come up with a comprehensive plan and come with an agreement. Any coalition that does not take a fight to make happen will not be worthy of its name. It must be difficult. It has to be hard. Because to me, I'm not just interested in a coalition to just change one president for another. I'm not interested in that. Because I believe that the Gambia needs to change in its totality. We need to have a fresh start, a constitution that can stand the test of time. The system must be changed. We cannot just continue this thing, and then next week we are talking about the next election. How do we come together so that you get it for Musajeng in the what Tukulorsi? Then the next one you get about. No, we cannot go like that. Our country is not moving. Yes, they are building roads, they are putting electricity, but the country is not moving. The reason why Barrow is running, we were supposed to now have a constitution that was supposed to have term limits, 50+1. We would not even have been talking about coalition right now. We would have just gone to elections mano a mano. And then the two top, if nobody gets 50% plus, we'll go to the second round of voting. And it is then up to them to make their negotiations based on whatever. Until we get to that, it's not going to happen. So again, we can sit on Facebook and yell all we want. We can sit on Twitter and or what's the other one, TikTok, and yell all you want. It's not going to be the solution to the problem. The UDP, DOI, and all these people must sit together to form this thing. And Musa, I've always said it. I'm going to say it again. There are two people who can make this happen. Two. And that is Mr. Dabo, and that is Usainu Dabo and Halifa Sallah. And this is why I said that. I believe if Usainu Dabo and Halifa were to sit in a room and come to a consensus and agreement, they will be able to get the majority of the opposition to come and join them. And this is why I want to challenge them, the two of them. These are people who have given all their lives, pretty much, to the Gambia. They've lost everything. They have not been able to build wealth, or if they did, it has been spent in the struggle for a very long time.
Yeah.
They are now of age. And by the look of it, I don't think any one of them would be able to run other elections again.
Yeah.
So this is the pinnacle of their struggle. And they share one thing. They want a better Gambia. Their difference is how do we achieve that better Gambia? So if the two of them believe that we have not achieved the objectives for which they were fighting for so long, then it is incumbent on them to do the needful, to be able to bequeath a Gambia to the next generation that is much greater than the Gambia that they fought so hard to achieve. These people did a lot most. They were young with afros and all these things. I saw Mr. Dabo, one of his first campaign, he was wearing a t-shirt. I think it had Atlanta written on it or the USA. I think that was, maybe he bought it when he came to the Olympics in 1996. That was before they called him and said, we want you to lead this. Usainu would not be wearing t-shirts like that anymore. But I believe that if these two were able to come to an agreement, it will be much easier to draw a Taliban to the end. It will be much easier to draw an SFL in. It will be much easier to bring all these people together and say, you know what? This is what we want to leave, the legacy that we want to leave for our country. These are two people who fought so hard for term limits, for all these constitutional requirements that are needed or instruments that are needed, reforms, policies that are needed to move our country forward. So those who have a voice and are interested in a Gambia that is better than what we have now, my challenge to you is engage these people so that at least they'll be able to sit together at some point. And maybe when they finally leave the stage, they can sit and say, you know what? We've really given it our all. We've now given Gambia another chance. Gambia was given a chance in 2016. The killings are over and all that. But there are other inspirations or other things that we needed, Musa, that we've not gotten yet. We are in the diaspora. We cannot vote. Every January, they go and talk about how great the diasporans are. They've given us $860 million, $1 billion, and all that stuff. But still, you cannot vote. So meaning everything that you are fighting for to have a Gambia that we can all be proud of, be part of, is not going to be a reality. We even have laws that are going to make it absolutely impossible for your son who loves going to the Gambia, even if he has the qualification, to be able to participate meaningfully in our politics today. We have Gambians that are qualified. By virtue of them, just because they have dual citizenship, they cannot even serve as a minister or a National Assembly member. And these are all things you ask Khalifa, who will tell you, I want a Gambia where a Musa Jeng will be able to run, irrespective of whether Mungi am citizenship in America or so. Mr. Dabo will tell you the same thing. I want a constitution that is better. I want our laws to be better. I want our prison system to be reformed. They all tell you all this. But these are the two players who've been very central in the fight against dictatorship. OJ is gone. But they were names. You talk about it, who do they tell you? Halifa Sallah Ousainou Darboe, Halifa Sallah Ousainou Darboe. Even though they were always on the opposite side of issues. But when 2002 happened, 2001, when we went to coalition, and the coalition, very interesting. PPP was part of NAD, 2006. NRP was part of the UDP coalition. 2011, PPP switched and went to coalesce with the UDP. NRP switched and now coalesce with Doi and others. When they went and lost so badly, because the Gambian people have told them, you know what, if you don't come together, we are not interested. Jammeh had 73% of the votes. Mr. Dabo had 17% of the votes. Jammeh 72, Mr. Dabo 17%, Ahmad Bah 11%. What did they do? They said that there were irregularities in the polls. They agreed and said, you know what? We are going to come together and form GOFA, Gambian Opposition for Electoral Reform. These are two parties that used to be at loggerheads. Now they're so in need and say, you know what? We face a problem. Unless this problem is solved, we're not going to go anywhere. And by that coming together in 2012, was when we got to this level and said, you know what? Do you remember when the opposition decided they came together, all of them, and said they were not going to participate in the National Assembly elections? 2012 National Assembly elections unless they were electoral reforms.
Exactly.
They did that. They all said we are not going to participate. And that unity was what led us to 2016. That was why it was very easy for Dembo Bifos to work with Halifa Sallah and others and say we are going to form a coalition to change our situation, so that no political leader will be thrown in jail because they went out in the streets and say, you know what, we are not going to allow our member to be killed with impunity. They said we don't want a situation where the government in power will be killing citizens because they come out and say we are protesting. That was why 2016 came about. And we said these are going to be the fences that we have, the guards and fences that we're going to have to make sure that we're going to have that. We failed to achieve that. Various reasons, litigated beyond belief. Now, this is the opportunity now to correct it. And I believe if these two can be convinced to work together, we'll have a coalition. If not, you'll go to elections with 4 or 5 candidates. Adam Barrow would defeat them. There will be more Nakala to the gray. Before you know it, NPP will be in power for the next, I don't know how many years. And the opposition, let me tell you this, whether you want to hear it or not. If Adam Barrow wins the 2026 presidential elections, you will lose your council chairmanships and mayors and all these things. He would take them all. The National Assembly, you will have a repeat of what used to have happened under Jammeh. You will have almost the overwhelming majority, beyond belief, will be the NPP. And we would have, in the process, if you don't mind, lose our democracy that we're trying to build, Musa.
Nah, Basamba, what is interesting, Moine, we're all biased in a way. You can call it that. In one thing I know, we're talking about the comprehensive. We're going to get to the second option. The comprehensive, that is the difficulty, complexity of having all the parties to come together. Ñun dañoo jéema seet rek naka la mëna amé. It's not ñun luñ bëgga or luñ bëggut. As I can speak for myself. Now, as long as political parties are entertaining the idea, because man I know a UDP, lingina buga, and I don't blame them for that, is to have a UDP government that Mr. Hussein A.N.M. Dabo is the president so that they can show the Gambian people what they can do. Lolu mo len ginaaw. Under normal circumstances, that's what they want. And there's nothing wrong with that. Really. UNC, they believe this new reformer called Talib Ahmed Bensouda, if anything, they believe
Sarian is still on the phone, if you can just...
No, Mankoron. Sarian,
he was praying, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. Sarian, you there? Sarian.
No, go ahead.
So as long as Yangi knows this, there is no incentive to go out there and say, look, I want to find a way. Hold on. Oh, so as long as participants get entertained, there is a pathway for UDP to win, or UMC thinking that there is a pathway for them to win, or Doi thinking that there is a pathway for them to win, there wouldn't be any... Hello? Hello? Sarian? Sarian, you there? Okay, and I'm going to try call coach. I can't hear you. I can't hear you at all. Nothing. So as long as Nyunge knows the idea.
Boss, you phrased it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, go ahead. You're good.
Hello? Yeah. Okay, we can hear you now.
Yeah, I was saying hello. You know, I'm going to Father Moose. He started analyzing his Yaram with a bit thunder. So Maghrib time, I have to pray Maghrib and come join back.
I hear you. So, gang la deglu. So I don't know whether you've been following up.
No, I've been following the entire, conversation, and thank you very much for both you and Coach Pastor Majo. But I will start by extending Ibrahim Silla's profound greetings to his wife, to Closie. So special greetings from Ibrahim. I must extend that. But yeah, Coach, I think pretty much, if you are here, I mean, the sentiment is the same. I mean, people want change, but again, what people are happy with, the peaceful coexistence, despite their challenges. You talk to everyone. I mean, we have this conversation. Musa Jeng and I had this conversation. Last time I was riding a ferry from Banjul to Bara, and there are folks talking, and the fact that they want opposition to come together. But how do you craft that? I think I listened very, very carefully. And on West Coast Radio, I said this. I said this party led. I mean, you can have strong opinions about it, but history is not on our side, right? So that is just a fact. It's not that we're making it or we hate someone to lead the coalition. I don't have any animosity against Mr. Dabo. We have very good relationship. Our families went back for many, many years. But I think the fact is saying that I'm not going to be part of the convention, that kind of shut down doors for the negotiation. I think everyone should be open. The process should be fair. And, I don't know I'm not privy to all the nuances on the NAD one, but his claim he's been disadvantaged. I think that needs to be addressed. He needs to be assured. And there should be an open playing field for everyone to participate. But saying that I'm not going to participate, it shut down negotiation, and it kind of, derail, a clear path where everyone else will sit at the table and negotiate. And I think that's a fact. And Gambians, yes, they are tired, but people, they want peace. They are excited about the road infrastructure. They're excited by electricity. And, they feel like they don't get kidnapped at night and taken to mile 2. People argue that, that's not enough. But here is the thing, though, in Mandinka, they said, more right? So people are so used to from Jambe style to Barrow style, and they're seeing all these things. They are happy, despite their challenges. People struggle, but people struggle everywhere, right? So I think if you want to put that in a more realistic way, how do you craft the framework whereby you bring people together? Acknowledge their concerns, the challenges, but address them, reassure them. We just had 2016, as you guys said, there was a lot of issues. Can we set that aside and say, we don't care about all that, well, let's do this all over? People are not going to buy on it. And I think the key word is the process. People have to have input into it. So, for example, the position saying, okay, we have the largest number. Yes, they do. But now, as I said, that large number, the 200 and something thousand, was not enough to put UDP on the top. And why? The question should be why. Why they were deficient. So don't say the elections were stolen, because it was a huge margin. So how do we go in there and tap into those voters and bring them along? I think that should be a conversation. And that's where all the other parties come into play. You have to create opportunity. You have to talk to them. You have to negotiate with them. But not that I am the party, do as I said, and that's it. I don't think it works like that, right? So I think this is very, very important for folks to be cognizant of it and create a path whereby it will attract more. It's about building new majority. New majority concerns the voters from 2021 up to today, voters who are eligible. How do you attract them and bring them? Is it because I'm just going to say, it doesn't. You have to sell it. You have to sell your policies, but also the folks that can bring those is very, very important as well. So I think this way, and I have to address where your concern here, saying Musajen says so and so. One snippet of what Musajen said, you take that, you think Musajen is against the entire Mandinka population. I think that is a lost cause. And you guys seen, I have a very sharp rebuttal against someone who, because Musajen and I and Bob Ture and Ibrahim Adiba went for dinner. And they took that and crafted, and this is where UDP needs to be mindful. That person cannot swear a single person to vote for UDP. The person doesn't have the courage to put his name out there. He called himself nonsense Fambondi Jatawule. Who is Fambondi Jatawule? The guy doesn't, because he shared extreme ideas. He is scared to come out and say, this is the person who puts this thing. And he said, oh, I support UDP. And you call that, and people say, oh, that's an individual. No. The party doesn't stand for that. The party doesn't stand for selling somehow, oh, the military wants to silence us. What kind of nonsense is that? It's a absolute nonsense. And they're out there. Like a Fambondi Jatawuling, somebody call himself Kitabu, who is in Marietta, Georgia. He thinks, I don't know him. I know him very, very well. And his day will come. We have to call these kids out on the open, because of people are intimidated by them. They think if they speak on behalf of UDP. And UDP needs to be mindful about that. We all want to be played. You know, it's true. UDP is the biggest party, but the 200,000 votes alone could not put them on the top. Now you have to readjust. How do I negotiate with other parties for us to form a coalition? And you know what? There are different formulas. People come with, I respect everyone, but don't try to silence people because you have a different opinion than those people. We will continue to speak. None of these kids are going to intimidate me. I know that for a fact. So you've been there, somebody who's been there. Whatever you guys said, it's absolute true. If you're not willing to go out there and face other parties and say, this is my agenda, sell your agenda, debate about it intellectually, convince them to come to your side, how are you going to go out there nationwide and try to sell your agenda to people? I don't see it happening, Musa, and this is the truth. Mm-hmm. And if we speak, they said, oh, he's a cynic. Let's pause him for a reality check. What reality check? What we are happening here, Musa, I travel every day. I talk to people every single day. I always laugh because I always engage people. I want to listen to them. I want to hear their feedback. The sentiment is not different what Cyprus polling is telling you. People want change, but also people are comfortable with what they are saying. And unless and until we are serious, we address what needs to be addressed, come together, form a united front, ain't gonna happen. I'm just telling you right now. The man, this is why MPP, you guys call it Denmandu. They said, you know what? If they are fighting, what do we have to say? Let's be quiet. And you can see things happening. You can see Kerfatu, Yaya Menteng, and Saho going at it. Who was the grown-up in the house? Was Mr. Mbalo. He looks very presidential, very diplomatic, a mature guy sitting out there watching these people getting at it. It shouldn't be that bad. We are not enemies. These people are MPs. They were UDP MPs. They should not go after each other on a platform out of control. To Musa, it's bad. And unless and until we put our house in order, this man is enjoying the chaos and all the negative stuff. And we need to call it as it is. It's not, we cannot continue to be silent and say it's acceptable. It's not acceptable. And that's where I need to drop off and I'm going to continue listening on you guys. But you guys are hitting all the good points and we need to have this conversation. Gambians are not bad, Musa. They're not bad. If we see the opportunities, Usainu and all the others, like he said, Khalifan, they need to get down there and sit down and talk to folks and say, you know what? We know the problem. We can solve this. How do we go about it? Somebody will come up from the very, very right. And you're on the left, but you got to bring people to the center. And that center, that's where you formulate a formula, a winning formula that's acceptable. People might reject it, but it's up to you. That's why leadership matters. That's why you are in politics. because you have to persuade folks to come on your side, even folks who are very reluctant, who don't have a buy-in in your position. It's your job and responsibility to convince them and say, you know what, I am selling a good product, buy it. And if they buy it, then ultimately you have some type of, thing where folks gravitated to a common theme that you promulgate as a campaign team. You take it to the people, you sell to them, campaign, and if people buy it, ultimately that's what's going to lead you to victory, but not the other way around. Okay? So that's what it is, Father Moses, and I'm going to listen to you guys. Thank you.
But tell you what, I have this tape that I'm going to play from Cutting Club. I'm going to play it. I got to play it. Somebody can see it. I got to do that. Hi, man. Say hi to Jainaba. Pasamba, you know what is interesting? Manam Nane, every individual, every Gambian, myself included, Sonko Gambia is on. I know what he wants. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I see my man Lamin Silati Samate. I mean, I know what he wants. There's nothing wrong with that position. All we are saying is we don't want to wake up December 6th. I mean, we can point fingers at Musa Jeng Mo Yakhali Mo Defni or Lamin Silati Mo Defli. We can all do that. We can all play that game. You can accuse me of everything in the book. I can turn around and accuse you of the same thing. It's not going to be very helpful. What we are saying is this, and my position is this, because I understand the difficulty that we are confronted with. That is, if we want a comprehensive coalition of parties. I mean, forget about Manfanla Farlel. Forget about that, because Lolu Tauma joke. Anybody who thinks supporting Talib Ahmed Bensouda to be president is the be-all and the end-all, then you don't even know me, because that's not it. I don't mind to have a UDP presidency on the double. Honest to God, I don't mind that. Because I think, it will be a leap forward that is good for Gambia. I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. If it were to happen, I will celebrate. What I question, the difficulty, the complexity, because I've been around. Karamba would put it different ways, trying to show me a pathway. So what we are engaged in, what is the best pathway to defeat President Barrow in 2026 December? So everyone is saying, I mean, according to the polling data, 69% believe there's a comprehensive coalition. So our job is, how do you do that? It's not just an academic exercise. What is possible? How do you bring these people?
Most young freezer today. This Atlanta internet. But go ahead, you're back.
If Halifa and Mr. Dabo were to sit down as a starting point, beginning a conversation, that could happen. Manlima Moine, parties would have to say, you know what, I may not be able to do it alone. That is not the shortest way to do it. The best way to do it, the shortest way to bring victory, Moine, let me engage my partners. Ñu waxtaan, ñu joxante cër, ñu dégluwante. There is nothing wrong with ngeen waxtaan. Su fekkee ne déggoo amut, at least you've proven to the Gambian people that you guys were able to engage each other. It's not a waste of time. Now, some of you are like very emotional. We want to show Talib Bensouda and these UMC folks what time it is. UMC folks are out there. Sariang has just engaged. I saw Yaya Menteng in Suleiman Saho. And I'm like, are you really serious? Yaya Menteng, someone that I respect. You're saying what you are part of is a new way of doing business, a new way of doing politics. My friend, you cannot engage in that kind of politics. I have a serious problem with that. Whether they're attacking your leader or not, because we've seen this, UDP, APRC, wanted to get away from that. And then NPP, UMC is supposed to be a fresh, a new way of doing business. Really, it cannot be about emotion. It's not about that is not something, man, I can even be part of. Really. I seriously believe, UNC is something different. And I still do believe that. Emotions get high. I think that he made a mistake. But I think we all need to check ourselves. Sulaiman Saha was all over the place. How can you say Talib Ahmed Bensouda is found wanting by a commission? A commission that you seriously believe from day one, it was set up to undermine your councillors within the UDP. Now, all of a sudden, for political expediency, Yange accused Talib Ahmed Bensouda of something else. Come on now. Just because of Yangi Mer, just because Yangi, you want to get back. And you guys are telling us, are you kidding me? Really? And you guys think we are stupid? We don't want to replace Barrow by another individual who practices the same kind of politics, that culture of politics. We're done with that. Monday do must Manda. We want to replace Barrow. Barrow is investing in infrastructure. Hello? We want to replace Barrow because we want to do something else, something bigger, something more bolder, something more transformative. That's what we want, my friend. But that culture, that politics, we have to shy away from that. That makes it much more difficult to bring these parties together. Extremely difficult. When the show started, again, high five, and you guys are all in the National Assembly. You guys hug each other. And then the conversation started. Musa Jeng hates UDP naturally. How?
No. The hamgalana funny si lolo na singupa. Hamgalana funny si lolo. If you are a politician and you have a political party, your goal is. There is a reason why Mr. Dabo is not only interested in Nakalatura, in people, his base. There is a reason why Mr. Dabo wants to convince every Gambian to vote for him. Mr. Dabo is not looking for Mandinka voters or only Wolof voters or on this thing. He is looking for voters across the board. Why must somebody who does not support the UDP hate Mr. Dabo or hate Mandinkas? It's nonsensical. You have different political parties. People will support who they want based on whatever. Are you saying that are you supporting, if you say that somebody does not support the UDP because they hate Mandinka, are you saying that you support the UDP because you are a Mandinka? Or you don't support Nakala and Mama Kande because you hate Fullers? We have to move away from that mindset. And we are talking back to Yaya Mente. This politics Yaya Msindala Papam Golola is nonsensical. It has not helped our country and it will never move our country. Your party, UMC Laturahama, I don't know, the United Movement for Change or whatever it is called, came and promised people something, a different type of politics. Musa, Mande Pa Sambajau, I am a very observant. I read everything. I have not seen it. It's the same old politics of Hasate, Sagante, and all that nonsense. You say this, if you insult our party leader, we're going to insult your party leader. That's what I'm saying. Gatsa. What the hell is Gatsa? Let's Gatsa on policies and programs. Gatsa is not putting food on people's tables. It's the same old nonsense, and unless we move away from it, Musa, Gambia is not going to move 1 inch. We have a lot of jokers presenting themselves as politicians in that country. They're not taking the livelihood of the people seriously. People who serve in the National Assembly. In fact, I think most of the people in the National Assembly should be hanging their heads in shame. Because they have nothing to tell the Gambian. What are you telling the Gambian? What have you done for the Gambian people? You had no problem taking these puradas and all these nonsenses and all that stuff. Nobody talks about programs. Why can't we argue on programs? Why must we? And here's the thing. The saddest thing. If you come to me and tell me, you love Mr. Dabo, Usenu is the greatest Gambian. That's what they tell you. Now, all of a sudden, you are not in the same party with him. Now he's a problem. Who are you? When did that become a reality to you? That's what I'm talking about. This is the question I'm asking. I cannot sit here every day talking about how great a friend Musa Jeng is. All of a sudden, I go join another platform. Now Musa Jeng is the enemy. What does that say about me? Politics is not about enmity. Musa, I've said this and I've said it again, over and over again. I remember when OJ greeted me, he was at Jaraway Cinema with his people. I ignored him and went my way. I went to the bureau, young, energetic, crazy, and was telling Halifa, "Nyom OJ la romba feeling the woman you fale umakosa." And Halifa just looked at me until I was done. He was, Joe, you made a mistake. I said, what do you mean I made a mistake? He said, OJ is not your enemy. He's just an opponent. If somebody says hi to you, the least that you can do is say hi back. And that stayed with me. We cannot reduce our politics to the nonsense that we see here in America, like the dumb, bigoted Donald Trump and the nonsense that he does. At least give people the respect that is due to them. That's just what it is. Some of these politicians, they are not gods. They're not anything, but these are people who gave a lot in the fight to liberate our people. They have families. They are trying to serve. If you don't support them, that's good. Don't support them. But why must it be everything about Gambia is now hate, insult, hate, insult. You hate Manikas, you hate UDP, you hate DOI, you hate NRP, you hate NPP, you hate Barrow. Why does it have to be hate? You have a policy, I don't agree with your policy, that should be accepted. And your duty as a politician is to try to win me over. Not to just relegate me into somebody who hates. Why is it that if I don't support the UDP, I hate Manikas? But it's just stupid. We need to just move away from this thing and just focus on the bigger issue. And this is why Barrow is going to cross the opposition, because every day, instead of the opposition focusing on the things that Barrow is doing wrong, we are waiting for what is said about Talib or what is said about Usainu, and people will go. Look at who in the UDP can sit here and now try to rely on a commission that the whole UDP had a problem with, and now try to castigate Talib just because he has left your party. I've even seen some UDP people who left the UDP now and went to UMC, who are now talking about, we also saw the tax issue that about Mr. Dabo. And you ask yourself, what are they in this thing for? Are they in it for the long run, for the greater good of the Gambia? Or are they in it just because of Kuma Faral, regular Faral? When it comes, I will just, throw the bath water with the baby and all that. It's just utter nonsense. We need to move on. Especially, I'm going to challenge your party, Musa. You came. Look, your UMC movement came and said that they're going to bring a new sort of politics.
I was the first one to basically say that. Man, I don't need to be challenged. What I said, I was very critical of Yaya Menteng, because like I said, UMC has to be something different, because that's what the party leader represents. I know that Talib Ahmed Bensouda doesn't engage in that kind of politics. He gets attacked every day. Part of the reason that I like him as an individual is because of his demeanor and his politics. But when UMC and that kind of politics, I will never support anything like that. Because again, this has to be something different. Now, emotions get high. Ahmed Jite, you're saying that this is politics. People would have to, it's not injured. No, we're not talking about that. Yes, but look, even the moderator couldn't even, these people were yelling, attacking each other. Ahmed, that's not the way to do politics, and you know it. What we witness, that's not how a National Assembly member should act. And I'm sure if you talk to Yaya Menteng, he's going to tell you exactly why he acted the way he acted. That doesn't make it right. And I'm sure Suleiman Saho the same thing. They all got emotional. They didn't, and then Sehun Balo was looking like the angel. Really. The Soko said law, Pasamba, and it's difficult. And it's difficult to say this sometimes, that when I went on QTV, very critical of the president, we're analyzing the Cyprus polling. To be honest with you, the kind of attack that I get from the UDP is totally different from where I get from the NPP. I'm just going to be damn honest, really. And I go after them severely. But their response tends to be, they're much calmer. I don't know why. They're not cutthroat. Some of these guys, I went to West Coast, and everything that I said was totally misconstrued. It came down to, he's a Mandinka hater. Seriously? How about you? Look at yourself in the mirror. But anyway, we're getting into the weeds. I mean, what we are saying is, here we have a situation, Nyom Ahmed Jite, they are very vulnerable. They can be defeated and they'll be out of office. And Ahmed Jite knows that. According to anecdotal evidence, Gambians see they want President Barrow to be term limited. According to real opinion data, they want Barrow to be gone by over 60% of the population. The way he manages the economy, even when it comes to the trust factor. So guys, how do we accomplish that? UMC munna fe neka mo UDP di ngiro ngaro ku neka di accuse ne sa bay dof la. We can do that till the cows come home. That is not what's going to remove Barrow. I can guarantee you that. No way. And if you think ne talib rek am 2% rek yow you nga celebrate and Barrow get re-elected, fine. Or you are UMC, as long as UDP doesn't win, you're fine. Well, for some of us, lol taxuñoo jóg. It's much deeper than that. We want the guy to be gone because we want our democracy to be consolidated. We want to have a new president. For me, that's what matters more than anything else. Whether it's UMC or UDP or DOI or anybody else for that matter. I want to have a new leader, even if it is somebody from the NPP other than President Barrow. That's my utmost priority. Would I want it to be Talib Ahmed Bensouda? Absolutely. Because I think that he's going to take the country to the next level. He has what it takes. He has the experience. I believe that. He has the character. I believe that. But that's me talking. But I will settle for any other change that I will. So, Pasamba, we have fleshed out the comprehensive. What needs to happen? To summarize, they will have to sit down and talk. For me, I think it can only be done under an independent vessel. It cannot be done under UDP, it cannot be done under UMC, it cannot be done under DOI. It has to be done under an independent vessel that they all subscribe to. They can find a methodology how to select the candidate. They should factor in the UDP is bringing 200,000 bankable votes. You cannot ignore that. And then you work around it, find a resolution, make the sacrifices and the compromises, then you will have a comprehensive coalition. Whoever the leader is has to be seen as it's not running for a single party. If it is Mr. Dabo, it cannot be about UDP. If it is Talib Ahmed Bensouda, it cannot be about UMC. If it is the DOI leader, Swaibu, it cannot be about DOI. It has to be about a new day in our politics for us to be able to bring victory. And that's what in the absence of that, Pasamba, the other option, the third option. Back in before 2021, that was my go-to. I always come here on this program and talk about that there should be the third rail, meaning a coalition of parties to come and contest against the UDP coalition and the NPP coalition. That would be good for our democracy and that could bring victory. The third option. Some people believe, because UDP, they already came out and said, they are not going to engage in anything that is going to be about a process like 2016. They're out of it. So, if some of the other parties are interested in engaging in a process like 2016, and whoever comes out, that person would be the leader of that coalition, and they take the fight to the UDP NPP coalition, and then we have a three-way race. Some people believe, myself included, if they have the right candidate, if they bring all the forces together, meaning Swaibu is on board with Halifa Sallah and the DOI folks, GDC is on board, ESA is on board, all the other new parties on board, Talib Ahmed Bensouda, UMC is on board. They have a process that the Gambian people will see, you know what, this is a new day for Gambia. At least they will give the Gambian people a three-way race that no one will be able to get away with. If that happens, do you believe that victory is possible, Papsam? Or do you think it will just be...
I think if that happens, you'll have a repeat of 2011.
Seriously?
I think Gambians have it in their mindset. Our politics has become very binary. And I believe that as long as you have more than one candidate, more than two candidates, Barrow is definitely favored to win. Now,
So
I know you and Karamba have this idea of, you know what, maybe it can be where they can take enough votes from him, he can eke out. Yeah. But
no, man, I absolutely disagree. It will not be like 2011. I think that is the wrong one.
Maybe the gap may not be that big. What I can guarantee you, you all will be going home with nothing. Barrow is going to win.
A three-way race?
Yes.
Like that?
Barrow is going to win. I've said it the last time somebody said that I'm Lumanan or no, Nanu Madara. Barrow will win unless you have a comprehensive coalition of political parties to come together. And that is going to be a challenge because of the history. Everything that happened with coalition 2016 will make it a lot harder to have another comprehensive coalition. It's going to be a challenge. But again, that's me. I may be wrong.
But the polling data doesn't suggest that, though. The polling data is...
I'm going polling data. Sibopam, if you look at even the breakdown of it, they're telling you if you have a coalition, the coalition would win. All right? Barrow is very vulnerable. That is for sure. But when they say a coalition, they're not talking about coalitions. They're talking about a coalition of parties against Barrow. And I don't think you're going to have a repeat of what happened in 2016, where the gap was just about 18,000 votes. It's going to be much more than that.
Yeah.
It's going to be. Barrow is sitting pretty in spite of his low numbers in the polling. Because I don't think the opposition is helping themselves. Chances are, hey, anything can happen down the line. People will be
wrong.
Yeah.
I can give a pathway to defeating Barrow in a three-way race.
Well, no, Karamba has always believed in that. But here is the thing, though. Musa, I want to just come back to Nyoment. I just wanted to say this and not to listing anybody. The objective of any communication, especially if you are representing a political organization or party, is to be able to sell your policies and programs to those that are listening, not those that support you. Forget. Mr. Dabo does not need to say anything to the UDP supporters. You need this Shakespeare. Dabo does not need to say anything to him to get his vote. That is already in the bank. His objective is, what can I say to a Falanjai out there, to an Apply Loom out there to get their votes? So when you go and represent a political party, you're not representing yourself. Simmer down, sell your ideas. That's it. You have to. You cannot be drawn into, because when he starts bickering, you guys spent over 2 hours on that program. Nobody remembered what you say other than the shouting match that happened. Nobody could tell you anything that was said by those people other than they were yelling at each other.
The Fadu Ture thing.
Yes. So nobody can tell you. Do you remember anything that Yametek said that you can say that you know what he made? No. Everything he wasted his time and then pretty much gave his party a black eye. The same with Suleiman Saho. That's the thing. You have to have the discipline to go to a platform, agree to disagree. But you had Sehu Balo, whose policies are the reason why we are talking for equality, sitting pretty and being the gentleman. Now he was the one calming you down. He had no problem because he had no push. You guys were so focused on trying to kill each other that you even forgot your common enemy.
Actually, I was supposed to be on that platform. Fadu Ture called me on Tuesday when I was flying out. And when I saw that, I'm like, I wish I was on that platform that day. Because really, what we were supposed to do as both UDP and UMC is to talk about the need to consolidate our democracy, the need to hit that reset button, the need to defeat the incumbent, the need to look into all the different possibilities, the need to engage. You know, this whole idea, I mean, I understand the toxicity between the UMC and UDP, especially the ones that left the UDP. I mean, I get that. But I think that we need to kind of move away, wean ourselves out of that emotional nonsense. Kuchineka, you have your justification. When you listen to Yaya Menteng, he tells you exactly why they move and create a new day. I get that. We all have but again, UMC stands for something different. The politics has to be different. And I do believe the leader of the UMC is a candidate. Man, that's what I believe in my heart of heart. But Pastor, this is where I disagree with you. Yange underestimate. Now let me ask you this question.
Go right ahead.
So you're saying, does it matter in a comprehensive coalition? Because Tukulosi is saying, even in a comprehensive coalition, it's going to be tough. In a comprehensive coalition, does it make a difference who leads it? Or is it just anybody that can defeat Barrow?
There is something that I say here, that I said here. And that is, if they all agree, you see, like coalition 2016, nobody knew Barrow. We had him speak. We saw him, people with the law and all that. So we heard him. We saw him at the UDP thing. But I think that if the Gambian people see these party leaders together, give an assurance. Let me give you, for example, let's say if there were to be an agreement, and this was something that Halifa and Usainu had a conversation and came to an agreement, and they called a press conference. And the Gambian people sit in their homes and see Halifa Sallah and Usainu Dabo telling us now, these are the challenges that we had with NAT, these are the challenges that we had with Coalition 2016, this is what we're going to do, these are the agreements that we want. So how many people do you think will look at that and say, you know what, I think we can give this a chance? How many people do you think? Yes. To me, when you do that, because that's where it is, you see the buy-in from the people. Because there are two competing forces here. And I think if they are all able to come together and say, you know what, they see that image in itself. And in the headlines is Halifa Sallah, Usainu Dabo finally have decided that they're going to agree to work together to make this coalition work. The next thing you see, Mama Kande coming from there, SFL coming from there, this thing, we're going to this process, Kileko lead. I think when we do that, Musa, they stand a much greater chance of defeating Barrow than when you, irrespective of Kuko lead, that's my belief, than when you have your three-way race that you're talking about.
I mean, if there is one thing that I can agree to, Moine, the sorest way to give the opposition a chance, more something comprehensive, that they all come together. But absolutely no doubt about that. Now, obviously, all of the landmines that are all over that, I mean, the complexity and of something like that. We've been through coalitions, and most people would tell you that is almost impossible. But a dreamer, I will always give it a chance. They want to try it, then it's possible. But a three-way race, that might just be the default. They don't have any other choice. Because a three-way race would be better than each party going on its.
Of course. Of course. This Atlanta internet is just terrible. You're right. Three-way race is better than that. You know, the narrower the race, the better. So if you have one candidate, let's say if you have a coalition, a comprehensive coalition, and then you have one other person running on their own, that person can be, discarded and forgotten and focus on the coalition. But you have to be able to have everybody on board who can come and make it work. Now, if you have a three-way race, believe me, and I'm saying this, I don't support Barrow. Everybody knows that. But I've participated in politics for long enough to know the realities of it. if you go to an election with Barrow, one person, Barrow will lose. Two people, Barrow has at least 60% chance of winning. But if you go with one person, 70% chance of Barrow losing the elections. That's just period. He's going to lose. He will not be able to win it. But unfortunately, with the disagreements that we have, I don't see that happening. Because people, yes, I know, Karamba, I know you're going to say I'm wrong. But I know we'll have this conversation. You know what? Maybe next weekend, it will be nice to have this call. Because I know we'll be having this coalition talks for a very long time. People will talk about it. I know you've always believed in this. But let me just remind you something, Karamba.
Pasamba.
No, let me remind Karamba something. 2006, if you remember that, there was this belief by the UDP. Their calculation was, okay, last elections we had about 33% of the votes. Ahmad Bah had about 8% of the votes. That was the calculation. If Ahmad joins us, that's talking about already about 40-something% of votes. And their expectation was NAD would be able to bleed enough votes from Barrow, from Jammeh, for the UDP to win. What ended up happening? 27% for the UDP, 5% for NAD. The surest way to defeating Barrow is having a comprehensive coalition. Three-way race, you'll be engaged in wishful thinking. You can spend a lot of money, but you'll be defeated.
I seriously beg to differ.
Of course.
Look, the idea you can just form now, the one that you cited in 2006, I mean, that's the miscalculation that UDP did. And that is, they thought, based on the results from 2001, if they just add their numbers, the arithmetic favors that. If UDP adds its numbers to Ahmad, they can easily be in a position that they don't need the DOI votes and those smaller votes. And I thought that was the miscalculation that UDP made. And sometimes when I listen to Karamba, they're still making that miscalculation. In 2021, Karamba's thing, the SR files jumping into the fray, they are going to take a lot of votes from the incumbent, and then that will give UDP an opportunity to pool, because it's a simple majority. And it didn't work out. It seriously didn't work out. Now, what he's thinking now is, because you got to understand too, all of us do agree Barrow is not very popular. I mean, let's just be honest. He's not. He's hovering around 30 to 35%. So there is a potential over 60% of the votes that are out there that you can go and really fight for, like a house to house. Over 60% is really out there. Now, in a third rail, not because of is the ideal, why in a Santa Bany, if the Halifa Salahs come in, let's say Halifa and his team Gambia, and they create a situation that all the parties come in, UDP and we don't want any of that. We're going to, because they're not even going to engage in a situation where there is going to be a process. No to alliance, you can't discount them. All these new players, the Pramadi Bojangs, UMC, Doi, Mama Kande, Esa, they all came together, and Gambians, they witness a process. And they're willing to put resources. And I'm talking about real resources. I'm telling you, it's going to scramble the deck of the race. That much I can tell you, Pasamba. Whether they will win or not, I don't know. But I'm telling you, they are going to scramble the whole thing. Gambians are going to see something that I've never seen before. I mean, Karamba would say that UDP is going to keep its base. And of course, they're hoping the third force is going to milk a lot of votes out of Barrow, and that is going to give them the pathway to victory. I don't know about that. But this is what I know. The race is going to be scrambled. Big time scramble. It's not going to be what we witnessed in 2021. Barrow walking away with 52%, and then you have UDP 27% guys say do affair. No, it's not going to be like that. In a three-way race, a third rail, highly
You're
funded,
losing.
having the right candidate.
You're losing. My English Makam So has said me say, oh, I disagree with you today. And Musa, listen, I've seen somebody say,
he knows the third force, Gambians, they want change, Pasamba.
you know what, Musa again.
There's a reason why there is what they call what do they call them? The
undecided.
Undecided. There is an undecided. They're trying to find a home. We're giving them a viable vehicle that is going to bring about change. Now, I'm not going to sit here and think UMC alone could go out there, register a lot of young kids, throw a lot of resources into it and ended up winning. I mean, that is not something that I'm going to sit here and comfortably tell you that is possible. No, in as much as I believe if it comes down to it, Talib Ahmed Bensouda's candidacy will do extremely well, better than any, third party oppositions before. It will be a different race, but that's not where my thing is. My head is this. If we cannot have a comprehensive coalition, then UMC and all these other parties should do whatever it takes to forge a solid alliance, give it the resources and the funding that it needs. If that happens with the right candidate leading it, because that is important now, it cannot be anybody. Be like,
so let me ask you. So let me ask you this.
I'm telling you, man.
Let me ask you this. Yangi, I'm going to say emphasis right candidate. Let's say if the candidate was LJ Dabo, do you think that you guys would win?
Look, all I'm saying is this. I'm not going to discriminate anyone at this point. It will be too premature.
But how do you determine right candidate?
I'm just saying.
In this instance.
I'm just saying, Pasamba. Gambians, they're yearning for change. They're tired of the same old individuals. What they want is a fresh face. They want to give this person a second look. Hold on. Brother Marong. Yes, all right. Let me pass them by.
Marong is sensible. Let's hear what he's going to say.
No more. I'm not in that will be. It's not his best thing. Oh, go ahead.
I just have a question though. I've been listening to you and Coach going back and forth. But Musa, now here is the argument though. No, hold on. I'm not into this side really. But here is the question though, the fundamental question.
Mm-hmm.
Now UDP said Cyprus, we got 20%.
Mm-hmm.
And UNC got 2%.
Mm-hmm.
No, hold on. So now how do you do your math and say, okay, someone per se is a winnable candidate, and you base your criteria or selection sort of a winnable candidate on that criteria. I think we always kind of say UDP needs to do this, UDP no. But if they are saying we have 20% and 20% based on the polling, now going into that negotiation, are they going with position of strength or weakness? And what does other parties offer based on the 20% that they currently have with CPAS process?
Thank you very much. I'm glad you asked me that question, because I have always said, if I were UDP, the statement that Lamin Mane made, I wouldn't say that. What I would say is, yes, we believe in a coalition of all parties. And we are going to listen to any other party, what you bring to the table. Like you said, going back to 2021, this is what we bought. We got almost 27% of the votes, more than any other opposition party. The recent polling data saying 20% saying UDP, more than any other party, UMC, single digits. So what they will say is, look, we're all ears. We want to have a coalition of all parties, but this is what we are bringing to the table. What are you bringing to the table? Nenyen watan. That's all I'm saying. Because I do believe now UDP does have an upper hand when it comes to a comprehensive coalition and who should lead it. I really do. Because unless and until you cannot throw this winnable thing out of thin air, what does that mean? I mean, I can have an opinion why I believe Natal Ahmed Bensouda is a winnable candidate, but that's just an opinion. If I'm going to sit at a table, I need to convince the other party leaders, colleagues, why I believe going with him, because that's what it's going to come down to. If it comes down to UDP has the argument and is very solid and is flexible to work with the colleagues to bring about a comprehensive coalition, then all of us will jump on board and support Mr. Dabo's candidacy because we want to defeat Barrow. Absolutely. I never mince my words. Even when I was on West Coast, I said that. You remember when I said, if there is one thing, if they are willing to sacrifice, make the necessary sacrifices, not to do it under the UDP vessel and all that other stuff, maybe all the other parties too, they need to make the necessary sacrifices to allow the candidate to come from the UDP. I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. If that answers your question.
No, that answers my question. I think where and I want to I want to be very fair because I think we all put the burden on UDP. UDP needs to give opportunity, but we fail to, as the holders, that is part of the grand coalition, what solution or what position they have to bring on the table. I mean, I think that is very, very important. It's not only UDP, because UDP is saying, oh, Cyprus, we got 20%. And in fact, particularly for Tadic, they said when he was part of UDP, he has 18%. Now he only has 20%. Well, you have an argument on that one. Despite the argument, I don't think it doesn't hold that much, but it's the polling, and that's what people see. Right. So what is the perception there? And if all the parties are gonna go into a negotiation and UDP's position is party led and we have 20% and the others don't even count and UMC has 2%. How do you negotiate?
Manila, UDP's position, and I mean some of the utterances that they are making, Lula believe that's where they're going about it the wrong way. Whether it's Lamin Mane or saying we're not going to engage in any process that is not going to be done under the UDP wagon or UDP leader. You don't, if you want to create a coalition, you don't talk like that. You allow the conversation to take place, then you take your, because definitely they are armed with very convincing. Look, this is what we are bringing to the table. If you're SFL, what are you bringing? If you're saying that you are the winnable candidate, tell me how. If you're Talib Ahmed Bensouda and you said you're the winnable candidate, tell me how. If you are Swaibu, same thing. If you are LJ Dabo, same thing. So all you do is just wait until you sit down and then, okay, we agree. But UDP also has to give up. Believe me, they can do it alone. If they're just playing politics or feel good, then they can do it alone and win. That's where the problem is. That's why these statements that they're making, a Solen Bouquet coalition, and you all join you. I mean, I don't think that's going to pass muster. It's not going to work. So, man, it's not. Okay. I don't have a problem with.
You are saying the conversation needs to be ongoing. They need to come out there and basically, they have statistics. They come out there to say what you have to bring on the table, but not to shut down that conversation.
Exactly.
Okay. I agree.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, have the conversation and let's go to make the argument. Nyom soon decided that they're going to use a methodology. I'm 2% more with a lead. Wait a minute. How does that make sense to me? I'm just saying, hold your cards as close to your chest as possible. But act as if your time because we don't want to just remove Barrow to plug in, just replace it. We don't want that. The meat of the coalition, what are the changes that we are going to bring about? Keba Langsane is saying something about your third force, Pasamba. And Keba Langsane. And I think he's right on the money. And he's always right, in my opinion. Keba Lang. When a strong third force will create a competitive environment and a pathway to victory by either UDP or the third force. If I scramble the race, and I think this guy, his antenna is up there, Utenayo. A two-way race, he said, this guy is speaking for me, will be the sorest way no doubt,
Yeah.
for an opposition victory. But you ain't gonna get in a two-way race. It'll be impossible to unite the whole opposition. Now, he's saying that it'll be difficult as hell. If it were to happen, Barrow will be defeated. Now, the question is, what are the sacrifices from the stakeholders that they are willing to do to make that happen? Fala affaire bi nekk, my friend.
Musa, Keba is speaking no language different from the one that you spoke and Karamba have been speaking forever. And I still want to maintain, yes, the race can be scrambled, but you're going to lose. I've heard people say, well, if Jammeh could be defeated. Jammeh was defeated by 18,000 votes when it was very, very, very difficult in our country. After he went and insulted the whole Mandinka tribe, jailed Usainu and everybody else, killed Solo Sendeng, everybody was arresting people all over the place, used state resources and everything. People hated him, if you want to say that, wanted him gone. He lost by a measly 18,000 votes. Barrow does not have 18, not 80, 18, 1-8. Barrow does not have any of those issues that we are talking about, other than people feel that he's not moving the country in the right direction. He's not killing people. He's not jailing opposition leaders. He's not pretty much hated by people. They laugh at me. They think he's funny also. So that's the thing. The challenges are more now in defeating him than it was defeating Barrow.
Okay.
Defeating, what's his name? Jammeh. If you have a comprehensive coalition, Barrow is gone like tomorrow. Absent that,
Go ahead, Sariyang.
on the 6th, they will be dancing. Soruba and Bukarabo at the State House.
I'm about to leave you guys alone. I'm reading Karamba's post here, and I think I wanted to know exactly.
Yeah, they're all gone. Believe me, you don't have to believe me, but hey, man, it's going to be very, very interesting. It's going to be. If you win, great for the Gambia. But your surest way to victory, defeating Barrow Helima.
With all due respect to Karamba, what does he measure? Where is the data that supports such an assertion? I think that's very, very important for him to share with the readership, so all the followers or listeners. Where is he basing this off of? Because what I'm hearing is different than what he's writing on Facebook. Trust me. I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything. Trust me. So I'll leave it at that.
All right, Marong. We'll talk.
Mangigis body today. When your PPP, they asked like a lobbying Barrow to back their blue flag. PPP, you want to blue anyone? That belongs to Ahmad Banao. You guys are pink.
No, Pasama.
Yeah, killing you and
not taking. This is the same position. This is the same position you were taking even before 2016. Your position was coalition is not possible and Jammeh cannot be defeated.
And there was something I said. No.
I was the one who was saying this can be done.
2016. Before,
I'm telling you, going
on. Okay. If you want to really litigate, so far,
no,
I've always maintained.
On bankers' position, this thing is not going to happen. These people cannot even come together.
I've always maintained.
You don't see them coming together. Manila, you are wrong. Under certain circumstances, these parties can come together.
If you
guys were mocking me, calling me Mr. Coalition, Secretary of Coalition,
Mr. Elections, if you're ready, man, munala suma position.
Suma digante yala lai wade.
No, man, Alma digante anybody. So, man, I can tell you my position.
What's your position?
I have told you, I have serious problem with the opposition boycotting the National Assembly elections in 2012 because of they saying that the electoral laws were unfavorable, only to turn around now and want to sell us elections. They owe us an explanation. And I also believe coalition was almost impossible to happen. But I've always maintained this. The day that you have UDP and DOI agree to a coalition, Jammeh is like a history. I remember having that interview with, you remember Modu Kurbali when he used to have those recordings?
Yeah.
That was always my position. Then the day that UDP...
There was always reservations. And
of course, I had my reservations, and rightly so.
Yeah, there is this Nur Sabali. He said something that I think I'm picking up in, and the only reason why I'm doing that, Mamadou Nur, is because of I know what you are saying. He's saying UDP doesn't want to get into a negotiation, and then at some point, as if they're going to bait into a negotiation and things fail and they don't know how to get out of it. See, this is where I think, Nur, look, UDP has to be convinced if they're convinced it's going to take a comprehensive coalition to defeat Barrow, I think they should definitely risk everything. They can walk into
baiting the UDP. I think sometimes people just...
No, but that's what he didn't say here. To be fair to him, he didn't say that. He said
no. But people are saying, even when Mr. Dabo talked about what happened in NAD.
So before that, they have to make sure their position is known. Bro, we're not saying like
Musa, who was the candidate for coalition 2016? When they went to the convention, who was the candidate?
Who was the candidate?
Yes.
Barrow.
Who was chosen? Who presented Barrow as a candidate?
UDP.
So what's the baiting? When we come to coalition 20 NAD Sibopap.
Exactly.
The same parties. Ibu Mane is still alive. Banka Mane is still alive. I sat with him in Atlanta, have a conversation. We explained the whole process what happened NAD. I still remember what I wore. I wore a black shirt that had Manchester United on it. Banka with his big belly had this Arsenal shirt, yellow. We had a lengthy, nice conversation, nice food at Banka's house. The same parties that we met and came to an agreement are the same parties that went and betrayed each other at that meeting, because they had an agreement that they were going to back Useno. And then Pamane of Ndam, who was not part of that group, backed OJ, and Duloba, who was sent by Ahmadba, NRP, which was part of the group that was supposed to back Useno, backed OJ. So that had nothing to do with NAD per se. It was the same parties that were meeting at Hassan Musa Kamara's house.
Exactly.
Coming to an agreement. That was the PPP, the UDP, the NRP, and GPP, because Hassan Musa was the chairperson of NAD. And this was why, when they had the vote and Duloba voted, Hassan Musa, according to Hassan Musa and everybody who was there, asked Duloba again, are you sure this is what the NRP wanted?
Yes.
And he said yes. And Ahmad came and said no, he did not instruct Duloba to vote the way that he voted. But Ahmad again chose not to participate in the voting and went on his way.
He wanted to have it both ways.
So he wanted to have it both ways. The same way that Ahmad, after the 2016 elections, convention, went and topato sohla bem ko ore line fum nek ni dafa melni li mun nañ ko yakka. And then Ahmad joined the campaign almost a week or so before the elections.
Of course.
So these are it was not a matter of when the UDP participated. Let's look at even 2011. Let's we were there.
Yeah.
When you wrote Musa Jeng mu ñu wax ne dafa hate the UDP.
Exactly.
I remember the big fight that we had.
Yeah.
You wrote a proposal in which the delegates would be proportional to past election results.
Yes, and UDP
UDP would have more delegates based on their past districts.
Exactly, by default.
Else. And I remember telling you, you were writing a proposal for the UDP.
That favors the UDP.
And guess what? Guess what? When they wrote agenda, what was it? Whatever it is for Doi's proposal.
2011.
Doi had also suggested, no, for 2011. Agenda 2011. Doi had suggested that the UDP, based on past performance, can have more delegates than other parties.
Exactly.
So it has never been this whole thing. A lot of people were here. We are alive. We were part of it. So that's what I'm saying.
There are young people that are not kind of looking out for the solutions. We focus too much on when we said the delegate you know what? UDP could even go. He can even go onto this meeting. Okay, you guys want to have a delegate based on what? Because it cannot be 70 delegates. It's going to be based on, election performance. They will be allocated more delegates than anybody else. Why you all the other parties are going to gang up. But baby, I walk into a negotiating table. When I don't see this is not fair, it's not going my way, you can always recuse yourself.
Yes.
You're not committed to anything. Why is it you are convinced? Again, this is the thing. I believe there are people that within the UDP, and Karamba is even one of them, that would like to see a UDP government under A&M Dabo. And they are willing to find a pathway for that to happen. Understand? I think that is the bigger stumbling block for their lack of engagement to form a coalition, because they think it's worth it, because they definitely want to see a UDP government. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that under A&M Dabo. And they're thinking maybe, and that is why Karamba would always argue, even in 2021, so they can pati bu neka nga dem nga def li nga wara def.
Yep.
Understand? And then if you do that, you get enough votes. Ñun tamit, we know that our base is solid. We will be able to win. For me, that's wishful thinking. I don't think that's how it works. I don't think that's how the Gambian voter, that's how their mind works. I just don't believe that. But coming back to this two
Shakespeare mom can do am close to anywhere for your defense nakalatura. Yo, Shakespeare, you're a part of the negotiation. In fact, you're not even going to know where the talks are happening.
They can come and join us. But you know what that tells you? Look at the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The only reason 40 to 50 years later, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people lost their lives. Leaders, ordinary Palestinians, nobody there. When you take hard positions, you don't want to. You remember Bill Clinton when he engaged both Yasser Arafat and
Isaac Rabin.
And
Isaac Rabin.
Yes, Isaac Rabin. They almost had a deal. All they needed was a compromise, a bold compromise. Bite the bullet and make the deal. I'm going to film neka ku neka ngi danka fananal guy UDP ngi danka fananal against UMC ngi danka fananal, and then yangi all this other do hamsa. It makes it very difficult for people to say, you know what, let's all talk. Somebody is telling me that Lamin Mane's utterances came from reaction from UMC. Whatever UMC says.
That's where the problem is. Reaction, counter reaction.
Yeah.
There is a focus. UDP is not interested with 52 billion of the Gambian money to run the country. DOI is not, UMC is not. There is one party that is interested with that. Barrow, NPP. UDP's objective is not defeating UMC, is forming a government, and to form a government, you defeat the NPP.
Exactly.
NPP's objective is not defeating the UDP, because to form a government, you have to defeat the NPP. Instead of focusing on lan la talib wax ñu tontu ko olu MC Cham wax ma tontu ko olu Menteng wax ma tontu ko olu naka Sonko Gambe ko why not focus on li nga xamne ni moy you want these people the Gambian people to be sold on your agenda. At the end of the day, okay, do I support Talib, do I support Usainu, so I'm going to support Barrow. Because you are not telling the Gambian people, Talib should not be your issue.
They're making it about, because I'm not Seibu Tasla.
And I think it's taking too much time.
Day one, I said this, and I'm going to say it right here. If UMC is going to focus on UDP, they are going to lose. Because that's not where things are. Seriously. I know the emotional thing, but that's not where the focus should be. The focus should be, we want to create a different Gambia and a new way of doing business, and go out there and spend resources to bring in new voters. There are a lot of voters out there, young voters. That's where the focus should be. And take the fight to the incumbent. Forget about, and also, how much a little more important? Because elegati Sibir, when we get closer to the elections, anything is possible. Reality is going to check in. Okay, maybe we need to sit down and find a way out of this. New opposition parties here. But the beginning is, Sandur, I'm not saying that for UDP not to make their position known. But position Bobulala Wane, the moment you say it, you're shutting all doors. You don't do that. That's not the way to negotiate. You don't say nay unless you come on, join us, and then our leader is going to be the leader. We do it under UDP because that's where it's all, and the argument is that's how it's done all over the place. No, be like, I don't think that helps the negotiation. That's all we are saying. It's not that there's anything wrong with it. It doesn't help. So when you
you can come in UDP has always maintained UDP only listing. UDP has always maintained this party-led thing.
Yes.
But when Mr. Dabo, I think, and I called Mr. Dabo then, whom I may interview and be Peter Gobetti last time. I think it was the best interview that he gave. He was very measured, dealt with the issue, and didn't even want to be drawn into this Talib thing, because he said when he came back, he just focused on the issues and all that stuff. And when they came to coalition, we know what his position, but he wasn't there. You know what? Unless everybody comes and join me, I'm not going to participate. He said, you know what, Peter, I promise you, I am going to pick up my phone and I'm going to call A, B, C, and D. Mr. Dabo knows what he wants. He knows what his party's position is, but he also understands, you know what, I'm going to talk to these people, let them come, and then I will say, you know what, okay, Mama Kande, what's your idea of a coalition? This. We say, you know what, this is my idea. And then you know what you do? You agree to disagree, try to convince each other, and lay an argument, which he can do because he's a lawyer and has done that a number of times. But when you just go and say, I'm drawing the line here, it is either this or not, then you'll have no negotiation. So that's what I'm saying. People need to just simmer down and allow the process to take its course. And maybe hopefully what you guys want, you'll have the comprehensive coalition or your third rail or fourth rail or whatever, and maybe borrow. Yeah.
UDP has never, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm wrong, has never initiated a coalition. Reach out and said, you know what, let's talk. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen it or heard of it?
No.
They have never. If you're the big boy with the big pants and the big boots, and you have the votes, and you know that it's not enough, and you have believed that the country needs to be salvaged, the country needs to be rescued, you believe that in your heart of hearts, the best way to do it, more to bring all the parties together. My friend, what is stopping you from making the bold move and bring these parties and say, Nenwatan? Why?
It has to take somebody there. I must you want to play the arts there, but you're getting a fit there.
Shakespeare. Bye, ma. You can follow what you want. We have to do the arts. But before the arts.
No, let's close it. Let's close it, whatever before the art. Let's just do the art.
No. Fumajar one len bini. Hey, where is it? My boy Vilabuga.
Please, buddy, like a video. Sorry, and we feature it. Sorry, knows how to dance.
Oh, I have to.
Because I know banker dance is like somebody can have any.
Boy, cutting club. Hold on.
Sarian dance. Sarian you talk.
That was Sarian Malong with beautiful Jainaba. I took the picture, man. I got knock one quick. Now I've showed it to the whole world.
Why did you show us yourself dancing?
Definitely.
You guys have had a time of your life.
Bro, I'm telling you, man. Gambia nice. I have to say that. And it was refreshing. And that is why I believe that we should do whatever it takes to make the necessary compromises Barrow has done his bit. Man, I'm against anyone who said that Barrow hasn't done anything. That's not true. He has done his bit. Akanyantale, he was there for 10 years, post-dictatorship.
So don't you play
No, did not go play. Bulma filibuster. He has done a lot of things. We need somebody else to come and take the country to the next level. That's all we are asking. And if it's going to take all the parties to come together, bite the bullet, make the necessary sacrifices that needs to be done so that we have a new beginning, then that's what we need to do. In the arts, Pasamba, you gotta bear with me, bro. We haven't done this art for a minute. And
no deposit, flexible payment plans, and lots of discounts. Get your Lakeview apartment today.
Hey, bro, I can tell you one thing though. Global Properties gange built tah bo xamne gis nga that OIC highway man fa gis ay tah yo xamne is unbelievable. Beautiful houses.
I'm going to make a small concern. I see them, they are very beautiful. And I'm just sometimes scared because I saw fire at the Lopitan.
Yeah.
And for the fire service to get there, in fact, there was another house I saw that was on fire. I think they sat there waiting for the fire service. They were nowhere to be found. And I think if government is allowing those type of buildings to be built, we need to have the infrastructure in case of emergency.
No doubt.
That is my biggest concern.
It is.
They are beautiful. They make the skyline look so beautiful and stuff.
Definitely.
But absent those necessary infrastructure.
No. The formula for any development of any sort, and I'm the last person who should be talking about that because I don't have the expertise, but just an ordinary average person, it's going to take a combination of average folks, private initiatives, build businesses. The role of government is to do the regulation that matters, create the instrument and the laws, and allow people to do their thing. Because what I see in Gambia, the majority of people, they are all in this rubber business. These are not people that get salary from government. They're not.
Even Uneka government said they are rubber.
Yes, everybody is doing that. Most of them are working for private entities. You go to Jimpex, that construction, I mean Wall Street right there. In as much as most of those businesses are foreign owned, but they employ a lot of Gambian. And another thing that I want to dispel, with this idea, most of the people that are working in the Gambia, foreigners, that's not true. Really. Now, what I'm witnessing, average Gambians are really working on these, construction. I don't know about the majority today. Because the reason why I said that, there was this guy, he owns his own company.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I believe, working for yourself is the best way to go. He's a young guy, maybe in his 30s. And I gave him a deal to do this tiling thing. He has about 10 workers working. And I was just curious. So I'm go, so you Senegal, like Guinean. And these guys, now I'm talking about you paying these people 200, 300,000, almost $500,000. These young people, because of skills that they have. So for me, any government, your focus is to help these folks and give them the right skills. If you do that, don't even worry about giving them jobs. These young people are doing their own thing. They are making more money than even a monthly salary of a permanent secretary. If you give a guy a gig, he's paid $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. Again, that's where the country is. You're talking about a developing country that needs to be built from the ground up. It's going to take plumbers. It's going to take electricians. It's going to take construction workers. It's going to, if you go to the service industry, it's going to take nurses, people with those kind of skills that are going to rescue that country. Yes, the government is introducing the TVET program. We are not going to see the results of this investment up to the next 5 or 10 years, maybe. But that's where the focus should be. Really, the informal sector, any government. That is why, Mane Baro, Ahmed Jide, I'm sure you don't want to hear that. We want to bring in another person to try something new. Bilai, if we do that, our democracy will be consolidated and we will give it another try. The next 5 years, 2031, I'm Kenyan. I mean, that's how governments, that's how country, a viable country, that's how it's supposed to work. Because what I'm saying, and the reason why I want Barrow out more, it is culture. It's a zero-sum game. You have to support Barrow to be successful. You have to support Barrow to be able to build a business. Imagine that 70 million that they set aside, somehow the money will be used to help the NPP supporters, entrepreneurs. How do you do that? You are a president of an entire country. The people that voted for you and the people that voted against you. If you are going to put any funding together, please don't tell me you're going to put this money together to help your NPP voters. Come on now. That's not how to run a country. They should be ashamed of themselves. Because other parties are doing that. Doing what? And it doesn't matter whether it's taxpayers' money or it's money. You don't do that. So that culture, for us to get away from, Munai vote against Barrow and still be able to launch a successful business. Munai vote against Barrow and still be able to, for people to tap into my skills. And it goes both ways as well. We don't want to bring in a new government and go through this whole nonsense about commissions here, commission there, and feel harijar, wasting our time. We want to focus on helping people, bring in a new culture of politics, help our country. For stakeholders, you are a party leader, you've already put your hat in the ring. The question is, what are the sacrifices you are willing to make that will give us a comprehensive coalition? And that challenge should be to every political party, including every one of them. I'm not going to make names, get myself in trouble.
Yeah, Musa,
Yes,
you
sir.
were talking about business. Do you remember Alaji Conte?
Alaji Conte.
Alaji Conte
Yes,
used to be a supporter.
UDP supporter, then.
Yes, a UDP supporter.
Mm,
They froze his accounts
yes.
because of whatever reason. Because he did not support the NPP government. In February of 2022, he decided, okay, you know what? I've suffered enough. I'm going to join the NPP.
Yeah.
Since then, no investigation has been launched. That investigation just died. This is a joke. We have a joke of a country, the way that they run stuff.
Right.
And Alaji Conte's accounts were frozen leading to the 2021 elections because they saw him as a major financier of the UDP. So if you cut that financial pipeline for the UDP, they will suffer at the polls. The guy's businesses came to a standstill. They came up with some cacophony stories about why they froze the accounts. Only for him, because I wrote something about this 4 years ago today. He joined them, and my question was, now are his accounts going to be unfrozen?
Of course it was unfrozen.
So they will unfreeze the accounts now and say, you know what, go ahead and do what you got to do. So this is a joke. We cannot have a country built on patronism and patronage. We see what is happening in America. That's why this country now is in shambles.
The doldrums.
You have the Gambia now. Where the hell would the NPP get 50 million from to be giving the people? to say we are financing people for business.
It's a political gimmick. That's what it is.
It's a political gimmick.
Like,
and it's the culture of corruption, and it's not a matter of where you went and took money from the treasury. Also, is anything that you do that is unethical, in violation of the Elections Act, to enrich yourself because you are the party in power, you are now able to force a business to donate to you, otherwise they will not be able to do their business, or you're going to freeze the accounts of somebody that is perceived to support an other party until they come and join you. It's corruption. It's unethical. And this is why Barrow has to go. Because the more you have somebody entrenched in power, the more that they would use other means to try to stay in power, the more and more. And the more they want to stay in power, the more they would go outside of the law to do whatever necessary to stay in power. He has to go. This guy is greedy. I am sorry. Let's just be honest. You asked for 3 years. You promised us 3 years. Now you've gone what? You want to go 15? Come on now. Just go, allow us to at least have some deal with some other problem. Let somebody come and become our new problem and we'll deal with that person. But we cannot continue to have this. Jawara 30 years, Jame 15 years, Barrow wants to go, Jame 22 years, Barrow wants to go 15, and if you allow him, he's going to go another 520, and then you'll have a country of 70 years of independence, only 3 presidents, because people think that they wanted the position more than other. And you have not done anything for the Gambian people other than build Nalen roads. Our people are still suffering. Our young people are taking the back way. Our women are waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to these markets to sell something so that they can pay for school fees or whatever it is that they're going to do. Our agriculture is nowhere. You have this guy who is just roaming around saying nonsense all over this thing. Wherever you see him, Minister of Agriculture.
He's a very political guy.
Nothing is working for the people.
Guy. But it all comes down to this.
He has to go.
These people will do whatever it
Put
takes
him out
to win the election. NPP, they're going to play dirty. They're going to use money. They're going to do whatever it takes to win. The reason why they are dumping 70 million, they're scared. They're thinking that if they don't do that to bring in their supporters, that's the way to win. They're going to do it, especially in the rural areas. For Funyonyo, Gena gullible. I swear to God. Now that they have electricity, they have water, they have roads, you're telling them that Nenlenjo Halis, say Nafa Libini, every month they give certain amount of money to these people. I can guarantee you, they're going to play dirty. The question is, like, what in the hell are we willing to do, Nyuntamit, on our side? Really? If we're not willing to do the same kind of sacrifice to rescue this country, Barrow will be re-elected. Blame nobody is going to listen to you. And I'm not talking about UDP. I'm talking about everybody. Really. Bulen you tangal. Bilai. Call, sit down, negotiate, find common ground, agree to disagree, do it behind the scenes, whatever. So affair be demut. You know what?
Yep.
We've tried, but it didn't work because we couldn't find limoy one problem bi nini hame ko nonu.
Jamana
ñoy suboba. Papa sa dolen waste time sa. Door ko now. Bul bayi becha chapandang la. Okay, we're going to try to put something together. No, man, it'll be too little, too late. Try something now and see what happens. But anyway, Odo Peter Gomez li douf ci nak bi yeb ken mënu ko
xejut ci cin bi.
So we are going to, and I mean, it's good to be back, Pap Samba, without a doubt. And hopefully next week or the week after, Brother Marong will be back. And I'm going to call these people and see what the hell is wrong with my internet.
You live in Atlanta. If you live in a third world city, that's what happens. Even Gambia's internet is steadier than yours, Thank you.
Sorry, I couldn't even dial in internet.
But anyways,
Brother man,
don't
represent UDP. Yo,
Shakespeare, wow.
Coalition or not, but will never win election in the Gambia.
Why anyway?
So Super Bowl, who are you supporting, brother man? Who you think is gonna win?
I want Seattle to win. I don't know why. But
you know what? Usually I don't like New England, but Boy Fati is Seattle and he's fanatical.
oh no, I think I'm going to stay neutral. Because but you know what? This is where now then UDP and NPP can now agree because of Nancy and all those people, the UDP folks.
They're all Seattle.
They're all Seattle, so they can have a party today. The reunion. UDP needs to organize a reunion. UDP and like NPP and UMC reunion. That would be interesting.
Just coffee. They hotel vinega kawur. They didn't have a retreat. And then Dr. Cisse was scared of that. He went all over me.
Yeah, he's scared.
Why not?
They're vulnerable.
Never say, yeah, I'm maintaining Suleiman Sao. I don't know.
Yes, sir.
All right, bro, man.
All right, man.
Thank you, guys. We'll be back next Sunday, inshallah. God willing. All right. Thank you, guys.